All right, guys, we are here live on Xbox with your host, the MC, Misplaced Crusader, and my co-host on the keyboard tonight is going.
Kimura.
Well, yeah, it's Kimura.
Yeah, I cut you off. You're going for too long.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's get to our special guest, though.
Yes. Oh my God. Super exciting. Oh my God. So we have a really special guest from the professional YouTube group RebelScumPodcast. We have here Mr. Andrew Fantasia.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Hello, all my fellow scumbags, all my fellow gamers. I'm really psyched to be here. This is awesome.
We're psyched to have you here. This is awesome. So, it's funny. We talked about this before. I'm going to talk about this now. We had the Star Wars celebration. And not only that, I just totally remembered you went there.
That's right, yeah.
And it's funny because when I booked this, I was not planning on this. Like, I totally forgot about the celebration. I didn't know it was a thing. And then what happened was the Star Wars celebration happened. Huge announcements across the board. Mind-blowing announcements. And then I'm like, oh my God, wait, we're having Andrew here from the Star Wars group. And then he just reminded me that he was there. So tonight is going to be the night to be asking him all sorts of questions. And you were even on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 panel. Am I correct?
That's right, yeah. I was on the panel, so I got to see the trailer a little bit before everybody else did, and they also showed us some really cool sneak peek things that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah.
Which is a really good time for us to show you a clip from their YouTube page. So I'm just going to pop that up real quick.
Guys,
And this is their reaction.
From RebelScumPodcast.
And James.
And we just saw the trailer for Last Jedi. How many times?
3 times we saw it. 3 times. They showed it twice in the room, and then we saw it again at the Star Wars show live stage. One time after that.
It's almost like we saw a new trilogy.
It was a trilogy of trailers of the same thing.
James, what were your thoughts?
I'm glad they played it 2 more times, because the first time was I think we were all kind of in that anticipation when we've been waiting for so long. It was like, oh my God, and we saw it. But the first shot of Rey's hand coming up, well, it's like the second shot, but when you see Rey's hand on the ground, then the camera pans up to her, sold.
Yeah, because it looked like it's like your typical Star Wars shot where it's pulling out and you think you're seeing something else, and then I thought it was like the island or something, like an island with water around it, and then the hand comes down, and we're like, oh!
Yeah, it was totally cool. We got a lot of Luke. Luke is the only one you hear in this whole trailer, too. Yeah. It went from not hearing anything Luke to now you only hear Luke. And he asks Rey what she sees, what she feels, and she's talking about the dark and the light. And what I thought,
and the balance.
And the balance, too, which was, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the best part was the one shot of that. It looked like it was inside of a tree, and you saw a gloved hand touching the Rebel.
Is that what that was? I was like,
yeah,
what
it was
is
like
that?
a gloved hand. So was that Snoke was up, Benicio del Toro. Andrew, come here for a second. Andrew here. Andrew Fantasia. Well, who did you think that was?
That was like the most enigmatic shot of the trailer. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't even tell that was a hand at first. Everything was very bathed in shadow, which was neat. Everything looked like it was filmed at Magic Hour, even the interior.
What did you think of that one? Of that shot?
I couldn't tell what it was. I was like, is that a forest tree? Yeah. So it was great, and I loved the paper with what looked like a lightsaber or the typical Jedi Council, Jedi Order logo. Like, oh, great.
It was really cool. We got to see the back of Leia's head as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that was great. Poe Dameron coming around. Finn inside I don't know what that was either. It wasn't a Bacta tank, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what hospital beds look like. We've never seen one.
Yeah, it looked like they were restitching his spine together or something like that.
Yeah, it looks pretty. That looked pretty sweet. And then the ending, the last line in this week's episode of the podcast. You bring up a point. Let's talk about that.
It's like, this is the end of the Jedi? He says, the Jedi has to end. Like, oh man, that's crazy. Oh, and is it going on behind us right now? That's crazy. But anyways, sorry, what were you?
But at the end when he says that, you talk about how Snoke's ship might be called.
Oh yes, right. Like there was a rumor dropped by Making Star Wars that The Last Jedi pertains to Snoke's ship. Now we got.
And Luke just said it's time for the Jedi to end, and that
right there. Did you
what
hear
if
it?
that means whether that's a ship and not being? I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it is.
That's so awesome.
I think you can hear them on screen. It's a fantastic trailer.
Yeah.
I think it's about. I think it's I think that's about the Jedi. They need to go gray, and I think it's the
Yeah,
gray.
yeah. So
There's so much the imagery.
Yeah,
Imagery.
yeah, so good, so good. I'm psyched. Listen to the people behind us. This is crazy.
That's the fourth time now.
Fourth time.
We're gonna get space battles galore in this movie. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that poster, the teaser poster?
Yeah,
That was a
that-
thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about more tonight on the recap, but yeah, they showed a poster.
Yeah.
And it was.
And Ryan Johnson showed a ton of photos, and we saw a lot of things. Not a huge ton of reveals, but like, ooh.
For not seeing anything for so long, we saw a lot in a short period of time.
Exactly.
That was great. So this is our 100th.
100 videos.
I'll make a 1. You guys make 0.
Wait, you guys want
Yeah.
100 videos. Thank you guys for watching
Yeah.
and subscribing. If you can hear me, thanks for watching and subscribing.
Yeah.
We're gonna be back later tonight with our daily recap, and we got one more video coming for you later.
Yeah. All right. May the force be with you.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is an example of what you can find on the Rebel Scum podcast channel on YouTube. So make sure that you check it out later. So obviously, we're going to be playing Battlefront tonight. Because, you know, that's the only really current Star Wars game that's going around. The last one I played personally was the MMO.
Good old Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, nice.
That one was pretty good. We got Kill One Rhino saying, hey, EZCA, what is this then? This is Battlefront with Andrew from
Yes.
Rebel Scum.
Andrew from Rebel Scum. So you were there. You saw the trailer. Did you know you were going to see the trailer? Did they tell you that they to expect the trailer?
We had a pretty good idea that we were going. Like, you know, they always like to tease you on these panels. They're the masters of building up, and they saved the trailer for the very last thing. So you go to the panels, and this applies to both the trailer for the game and the trailer for The Last Jedi. I mean, you go to the panels, you see the speakers come out, everybody says their piece, everybody talks about working on the project and how awesome it was, and you get hyped up and you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, oh man, we're gonna see it, and somebody makes a little comment like, wait till you see this and that, and we're just like, you know, it's coming, and then they, you know, at the very end of the panel, they're like, so, who wants to see a trailer?
Yeah.
And the room goes crazy.
Yeah. Did you scream like a girl? Like, were you like, ah?
Yeah, there was a whole lot. Like, there's so many. Again, in both the Battlefront and Last Jedi trailers, there were so many screaming moments from us. I watched the Last Jedi one standing up because there was no more seating room, and I was just standing in a crowd of people.
Oh wow! So you didn't even get to sit down.
No, but it was. You know what? It was worth it. And just hearing everybody, because when people are watching something like that for the first time ever, and they're all that passionate about what they're watching, there's like a collective reaction to things. You react as one unit. So when Luke Skywalker starts speaking in the trailer, or when spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer for Battlefront 2 yet, but when you see Kylo Ren activate his lightsaber, the room just goes wild at the exact same time.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You can't replicate that.
No. And for you, was this your first time being at an event like that?
It was, yeah. I've done my share of fan expos. You can find me at Toronto Fan Expo pretty much every year. I'll be the guy walking around by himself looking sad because he can't afford something neat. But
That's so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that.
There's always something great, and I'm like, oh wow, that's $500 more than I brought with me. Okay. Yeah, I'm at Fan Expo at least once every year here in Toronto. But this was my first Star Wars celebration, and you know, celebration was one of those things where, as a Star Wars fan, you're always aware of it. I think it started. The first one came out back. I could be wrong. Back in the prequel era. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it started around the prequel time, and they started doing these conventions for it. And you know, I hear about it. I'm like, okay, cool, celebration. But then this year, I was like, you know what? I'm going.
You're just going all in. You're like, I'm gonna put all the money down.
Yeah. I don't care if it's in another country. I don't care how long the flight's going to be. I want to go see Star Wars and get to see things before anybody else does. And it was so worth it.
Oh, perfect.
Shouldn't that be Sandberg?
No, not for that one.
Right. Sorry, Ramla was saying we were a bit quiet. So Kilo One Rhino wants to play with you.
Yeah, totally. Send me a message, guys, tonight if you want to play with me. We definitely love the multiplayer side of these games, so send me a message and I will add you to my game session and we will jump into some Star Wars games.
Now, guys, be careful. I played with Misplaced Crusader before. He is merciless, and he knows tricks.
Not right now. I'm getting murdered in this one. But...
He's like a human game genie. And yeah, I just aged myself when I said that, but you know what? That's him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So Ultimate Gamer BGC says, I watched the trailer alone on my Xbox, and I was giddy like a child. And Trazeltron81 says, gonna play Star Wars Battlefront when it's installed. Are there any free DLC maps?
So with Star Wars Battlefront right now, like just the first one, or?
Yeah.
There are no free DLC maps except for maybe one, but like, yeah, most of them you need the Seasons Pass. So, which is what I'm playing tonight, but that doesn't mean that you can't play with us. You're welcome to join.
Now, what you're seeing here, Bespin, this is part of the DLC pack?
Yes, this is part of the DLC pack. It was actually a great starting game. This game offered quite a lot to start. I mean, it did have some small story kind of training missions. And then the beauty of this, actually, and the one I most enjoy is Fighter Squadron, because you get to play X-Wing or A-Wing, or TIE Fighter or TIE Interceptor. And then you could also fly the Millennium Falcon, and you could also take part in the... you know, playing the heroes like Leia and when you're on the ground as well. So there's so much you can do. This game's awesome.
Killer Rhino wants to know if you're appearing offline.
I am appearing offline, so please send me a message. Personally, the reason why I went appearing offline is because if I go online, we will get a barrage of Minecraft messages.
Yeah.
And I
have not been online since the Minecraft.
Yeah, the fiasco.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like sort of like in Marvel where they talk about the Battle of New York. Like,
yeah.
Since the Minecraft stream, we do not go online anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Since the incident.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Yeah, the incident. Yeah, that's it.
The Minecraft incident.
Since then. So, but, I mean, we have our awesome guest here. So, Fantasia, why don't you... Sorry, I call him Fantasia because that's part of his name.
That's cool.
That's our college nickname. I actually knew this guy in college.
Oh my god,
that's
so
right.
Disney Fantasia has like Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
So you're like a Disney product.
It's all part of my plan to one day become the next Bob Iger.
There we go. So for those of us who don't know, who is that person?
Bob Iger is, I think he's the COO, current COO of Disney, or CEO. He's one of those CO things. He's a big deal. He's the man at Disney, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's the man. He's the guy.
He's the Phil Spencer of Disney.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right.
Trazeltron, that's so hard to say, says, looks really good, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and Reynolds says, it's Captain Kirk in Battlefront 2.
That's extra DLC.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be. I mean, Kirk's not like a super uncommon name. It just won't be that Kirk.
Yeah. So Fantasia, tell us about the Battlefront 2 panel from what you heard. And that you can tell us, although feel free to just tell us everything, I mean, even though they told you not to.
Well, I just saw a Lucasfilm sniper dot on me, so I better not say everything. But
George Lucas, now he's retired, has so much time on his hands.
Oh, he took up some special Black Ops jobs. But no, so the panel, the panel started off, with they brought out some of the dev team. And it was a very great international dev team, and we had developers there. There was a woman from France. There was a man from Germany.
Oh wow!
I think there was a guy from Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So the dev team was really global, and it really kind of helped sell that idea of just how much not just gamers but the world loves Star Wars, and you could tell everybody was coming at it from a place of love. Mm-hmm. The German fella, I wish I remembered his name, but every time he spoke, he brought a smile, just a big old giddy smile to my handsome chiseled face, because he had such passion for the product, and he actually showed a picture. He goes, he said, I just want to show you guys this thing to kind of break the ice because I'm a little nervous. So he put up this picture of a little membership card from 1983 that he had signed that said he was an official member of the Star Wars fan club in Germany. I think it was called a German Jedi. It was just
spelled with a J.
Yeah. It was this great little just piece of info about this man, and just you can tell just after seeing that, you're like, okay, this guy this guy he's one of us. This is a guy one of us is getting to work on this game. So that can only, be beneficial for us in the long run.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just get to the chat.
Yep.
Because you guys.
Because we talk. We talk.
So I have to butt my way in. Ultimate Gamer VGC says, I think the Captain Kirk is DLC, but only the Shatner version. And Trazeltron says Lando will be in the next game. Killer Rhino says, before you invite me, I'm grabbing a drink. Renlot says, this is not the Kirk you're looking for.
To the person who said Lando will be in the next game, if it was up to me, Lando would be in every game. Lando would be in Halo 5 if I had my way.
So with that being said, obviously they talked about the character, like the trailer showed the characters in the next Battlefront. What should we know about the characters? Which characters are going to be in it? Let's say if someone didn't see the trailer, what characters can we expect?
Well, if you didn't see the trailer has a huge emphasis on the big shiny new thing that everybody's excited about is the single player campaign. Oh. And that's a big deal for me because I'm a huge single player campaign. I am single. I walk around by myself. So when I play games, most of the time I am by myself, and I'm like, well, let's get some story mode in here. So they added that to Battlefront 2. And the character you're playing as, I forget her last name, but she's really cool. Her first name is Aiden, and Aiden is she's the officer of Inferno Squad, which is an Imperial Black Ops squadron. They're these black and orange stormtroopers. They're special operatives, and their whole goal, the game starts after the second Death Star blows up, and their whole sort of goal moving forward is we're going to avenge our Emperor. Ooh. And so you're playing as Aiden throughout the story and her journey between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. And the little tidbits they gave us at the panel indicated that during the story mode, you will get to play as Kylo Ren. And
that's cool.
Yeah, Kylo Ren's a big deal. I mean, besides the Lego game, we haven't gotten to play as Kylo and Rey yet, so it's great to be able to step into his shoes.
That's not true. Disney Infinity.
You're right. You know what? I keep forgetting about Disney Infinity.
That's a great game.
So does Disney.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, she's not wrong. Oh wow, Bosk just killed you. And then there was also mention of Luke Skywalker, who will also be playable at some point in the campaign, but they said they gave us the whole, there's more, but you're going to have to wait and see.
Oh, that's so mean.
The one thing I'm very excited about is in the trailer, blink and you miss it, but you catch a snippet of one of my favorite characters, Rey. And again, besides Disney Infinity and Lego, I haven't had the chance to step into Rey's little scavenger shoes and run around and hit people with my staff.
Yeah.
I just want to scavenge and staff some fools in the face. So I hope Rey is there somehow because Rey's just awesome.
Yeah. So now, no. Shout out to the chat.
Yep, shout out to the chat. Ramlin says, so does Darth Maul just die before he's able to do anything meaningful?
Oh.
No, it says, still amazed at the look of this game. Ultimate Gamer VGC says the look of the character's face when she watched the Death Star 2 blow up.
Yeah, the mocap work is fantastic. The actress who plays Aiden was also at the panel.
Oh, what?
She didn't. She wasn't speaking. She was just sort of in the audience. She stood up and waved, said hello and hey, I hope you like our game. But you could tell, they pulled out all the stops with the motion capture, and all the actors look like they're doing a bang up job.
Oh, that's sick. So actually, it's funny that you brought up Darth Maul. So just to give you guys some background, Fantasia, you've read the books. You're part of this group, Rebel Scum. Can you give us a background about the group Rebel Scum and what they do?
Yeah. So RebelScumPodcast, we started way, way, way back in September, 1,000,000 years ago. And by million, I mean a few months ago. Back in September with two of my buddies, James Razile and Brock Smink. They started it. It's actually it's their baby. They started a Rebel Scum podcast, and they invited me along because I would not stop bothering them about it. So now I'm on the crew every once in a while, along with another fellow, Rob McDonald, and James's wife, Erin Razile. The five of us we make up the Rebel Scum podcast team. We're producing videos every week. We got a bunch of shows on our channel now, and basically we just finished wrapping up all of our Star Wars Celebration Orlando coverage, which was a lot of stuff. If you go onto the Rebel Scum podcast channel on YouTube, you'll see there that the majority of it right now, there's celebration stuff coming out the wazoo. It's everywhere. We tried to, give the fans a video for pretty much every revelation we got. We just wanted to shout that out back to you guys and let you guys know what we learned. So we've been doing Rebel Scum now, like I said, since September. Now we've got, I think, it started off with just the podcast, which was just called RebelScumPodcast. Now I think we have about, I want to say 6 different shows, including the podcast, on the channel. So if you don't want to watch the whole hour-long podcast, there's plenty of other shows there to check out. I've known you a long time, and you're part of this group. Now you are also a writer, and if you guys ever watched the Rebel Scum podcast, you did a trivia game against another guy. That's right.
I believe you lost on a technicality personally, but you should have won that, in my opinion. I watched the whole thing, and it was just like a mispronunciation or something. I can't remember. It was a really small technicality that you lost on. But anyway, but you do writing. You write your own stuff. You're a very talented writer. You wrote a wonderful book called Side Scroller that you were getting funding for and everything. So you've read a lot of the Star Wars canon. You know a lot about the background. You've read a lot of the books. Is there things that we should know about when we're getting ready for like Star Wars, or anything we should know about for future games and or the movie? Because you've seen the trailer for The Last Jedi now, and you know a little bit more. There's a lot of theories about Luke being a great Jedi, something like that. Can you tell us anything about the background that we should know about?
Yeah, actually, we got some cool tidbits from both of those panels. From the Battlefront panel, when they were talking about the game, they announced that there was an upcoming book that was just another book in new canon that was announced a few months ago called Inferno Squad, which was about the elite group of Inferno Squad stormtroopers, and it was supposed to be, they set it up as sort of like a sequel to Rogue One, like Inferno Squad is fighting on Scarifter in the battle at the end of Rogue One and such. But at the panel for Battlefront 2, they announced that the full title for the book actually is Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. So this is going to be a tie-in book, just like the Alexander Freed book Battlefront Twilight Company that came out with the first game. This is going to be just the same thing, follow up to that. It's going to be the backstory to Iden, our protagonist. We're going to find out what she's all about. And then Battlefront's going to kind of kick off right where the book leaves off. And you get to follow Iden on her journey from there. We also got some really cool information. If you're a fan, one of the coolest looking characters from The Force Awakens was Captain Phasma, everybody's favorite chrome-plated stormtrooper, and she didn't get as much love in the movie as we thought she was going to, but she's gonna get the love come September.
So you know more about Captain Phasma?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Captain Phasma is she's gonna come back in a big way. We're gonna get a book and a comic book about Phasma in September when they're going to be launching it with the Journey to the Last Jedi book launching event. So we're going to get a book that's her backstory, and then we're going to get the comic that tells us, it's just a 4-issue miniseries, but it's going to tell us how Phasma got out of the trash compactor at the end of Force Awakens and survived to make it to wherever she is in The Last Jedi. So those are going to be great little lead-ins for anybody who hasn't dipped into the deeper waters of canon yet. Those are going to help you enjoy Battlefront 2 on a bigger level and enjoy The Last Jedi on a bigger level.
Amazing. So just to jump back to the chat for a second, Ultimate Gamer VGC says, I haven't played this game in a while. Bossk is in it? Bossk?
Bossk is another one of those characters who he should be in everything.
Ramlot says, is Jar Jar the main bad guy in Battlefield? Oh, yeah. Battlefront 2?
Yeah, so Jar Jar, like, opinion.
Wait, hold on. Let me catch up to the chat before you go into a whole thing.
That's Jar Jar's a sensitive topic.
I know it is, so I'm going to stop you before you get into it and let me get back to our viewers, because that's who we're really here for, not so that you can fawn all over Andrew. Although it's adorable, it's great, just give the chat some love.
Give me some minutes. All right, cool.
It's always me bringing you back to center.
That's fine. That's why our relationship works. Anyways, continue.
Noid says Battlefront 2 isn't the Star Wars game I'm excited about. Respawn's Star Wars game is the one I can't wait to see. Isn't that how we all feel though? And Ultimate Gamer VGC says Respawn's haven't heard about it. Other Barber says it's a unicorn at the moment, which I think all we saw was like a teaser picture.
Was that the picture of the guy looked like he was on Tatooine with the flags?
Yes.
Is that what that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So right now we have no idea what it is. Noid says, Respawn is the developer, Titanfall dev. Ultimate Gamer VGC says, oh, that would be delightful.
Yeah.
Ultimate Gamer says, side note, pre-orders of Battlefront 2 give you the Last Jedi characters, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultimate Gamer says, let her speak, man. Oh, don't you worry. I find my way in.
Yeah.
You can't stomp on this pizza.
This is it's very true. It's very true.
All right, so back to Jar Jar. Now
Yeah.
you guys can get into it.
So as a fan, you know, a lot of people that watch Star Wars hate Jar Jar.
Mhm.
And what is your sort of opinion on how Jar Jar like helps the Star Wars universe, if he does at all? Just opinion on Jar Jar. Just like, how does he fit in, and how do you think he fits in, and is he a good character?
Jar Jar fits into Star Wars the way a square peg fits into a round hole, in that you can see the connection. Like, a peg goes into a hole. I can understand why they would try that, but at the same time, you can be like, let's try a different peg. Jar Jar, he's, you know, James Razile from RebelScumPodcast is going to give me a lot of flack for this, because Jar Jar is his boy. Jar Jar has his moments. He has moments that are good. He has moments that are not so good. At the end of the day, personally, I think he could have been handled better. But whether or not you like or hate Jar Jar Binks, if you pick up the book, the new canon book called Aftermath: Empire's End by Chuck Wendig, you're going to get, there's a lot of little side chapters in there that cover random parts of the galaxy. And in that book, you are going to get a side chapter that tells you definitively what happened to Jar Jar Binks in canon, basically what his fate was. And I'm not going to spoil that here because it's just too good. You have to read it. And I promise you, once you finish reading that little chapter, it's only like 5 pages long, you will never look at Jar Jar Binks the same way again.
Really?
Yes.
That impactful, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all the recent movies have like a cutesy robot, because everybody loves R2-D2, and now they have BB-8 and the
Kate
less
So?
the not cute robot, but who had a good personality.
Rogue One, the
What is
queso.
his-
Or...
Hey, you just described what every girl says to me on my date. I'm not a cute robot, but I have a great personality.
But yeah, so I feel like Jar Jar was like the cute robot attempt, but before they figured out people like robots more than they like lizard bunnies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Lizard bunnies, I like it.
you know, he was just supposed to be like, I don't know, like a mascot almost, and then they gave him too big of a role, and they were like, oopsie.
Yeah, he definitely, they bit off more than they could chew with the size of his role, that's
Or-
for sure.
He's like the Rebecca Black. You guys remember that Friday song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So sorry.
I see a good question here, but
Yeah.
the robots.
Killer Rhino says Rocket League is now fixed. 3 uninstalls and 3 installs later. Ramlet says, what about the theories that Jar Jar is a Sith?
Ooh. Well, yeah, I've read those Darth Jar Jar theories, and they are a lot of fun. They're hilarious. They're funnier than Jar Jar himself was in the movies, but I don't buy it. And especially after you read this piece of Aftermath: Empire's End, it'll put any of those fears to rest. Jar Jar is definitely not going to be a Sith. He's not Snoke, but he is something special, and you'll find that out if you read this chapter.
So that brings to light the question: what is the theory on Snoke?
I don't know who Snoke is.
Snoke is the villain of like the hologram of. Oh my God! Why am I freezing on this? The Fork Awakens.
The Fork Awakens. I haven't seen that one yet. I heard it's great.
Oh my god, it's like a cooking special of food. Whoa.
I give it 5 months before that happens. On like Gordon Ramsay's channel or something.
Yeah.
The Den of Nerds says, will you be able to play as Snoke in an awesome gold robe? From Josh. Do you know a Josh?
I do know Josh from Den of Nerds. We did a crossover video in Orlando. What's going on, Josh? Good to see you.
Amazing. Hi, Josh.
What's up, Josh?
Most of our fan base is in Beam, in case you're wondering why you're so lonely in Twitch.
Yeah,
We're-
Beam's very active.
Yeah, we're moving over to Beam, so that's why you're so lonely.
But I sure as heck hope that we get playable Snoke in. Snoke is. I'm a big proponent of villains. I love the villains. Emperor Palpatine is my favorite Star Wars character. He's probably my favorite fictional character, period. So I want to see Snoke as much as possible. I want a Hasbro 6-inch Black Series action figure of Snoke because that would look gorgeous on my shelf. I think I'm pretty confident we're gonna get a lot of Snoke goodness in episode 8 and 9.
But what is he? What's the theory? Like I've seen so many, but what
Yeah.
is the theory you're following?
The one that I think I'm buying the most into right now, and I wouldn't put money on any of these theories, mostly because I don't have any. But if I did have money, I would probably put it. Sorry, this trench run you're doing looks amazing. By the way, I
Right?
just have to bring that up. This is gorgeous. I've never seen this level before.
DLC, buddy.
DLC. I would put my money that Snoke is a will. Whill will. And if you don't know what a will is, the wills are these ancient kind of beings who kind of brought the Force, brought the whole religion of the Force into the picture thousands of years ago. I would, again, this is all just strictly hypothesis on my part. I'm just spitballing here, but I think that Snoke came from a different galaxy. He came a long time ago to this galaxy that we know, and he sort of introduced them to the concept of the Force. Kind of like, the whole idea of how aliens came to ancient Egypt and showed them how to build things and make pyramids and space travel and all that fun stuff. I think Snoke kind of did that. He was like, hey, ancient Star Wars galaxy, let me show you about what the Force is and how it works. And there's dark and light sides. Use the dark side a lot because I like it and it'll make you stronger. And then he just kind of vanished. But now he's back.
Interesting.
Amazing. Grey Goose Canadian says, I've only heard criticism because of his accent. Again, talking about Jar Jar. Ultimate Gamer VGC says there was a bit in one of the canon books that explains what happens to Jar Jar, and Wild Gravy says true. Wild Gravy, I love your name.
Mm-hmm.
It is so funny. I'm just imagining like gravy like coming out of nowhere, like getting you.
And
like,
just being wild.
It's just wild gravy.
I imagine like a wild turkey, like it's rabid, like those turkeys from that South Park episode, but they're covered in gravy.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how you compliment his name and then he follows right after. So thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. That's a really interesting theory on Snoke. In fact,
Noid also wants to know if Chewie is a spy for the Empire. Talking about theories.
That's a good one.
In the movies?
Who knows? I don't know. He just says, is Chewie a spy for the Empire?
Oh, I hope not, because then my heart would break into at least 6 pieces. Well, as far as we know, at the moment, circa episode 8 time, there is no more Empire. At least not how we knew it before. There's the First Order now, and it kind of picked up the pieces. So, if your question carries on into that, is Chewie a spy for the First Order? God, I hope not, man. I really hope not, because if that's the case, everybody's in trouble.
So how did the First Order come to fruition? Like, I feel like they didn't explain that a lot or at all.
No, they still haven't really given that to us. Again, that same book with the Jar Jar scene, Aftermath, Empire's End, talks about the final battle between the Rebellion and the Empire, which, FYI, that took place on Jakku. That's where all those broken ships came from that Rey lives in. And
okay.
that battle basically finished them off. What was left of the Empire ran off with their tail between their legs. And not to spoil anything from that book, I'm just going to be careful what I say here, but the Emperor Palpatine had a contingency plan, so whatever was left of the Empire at the end of that battle followed that plan. Now, we don't know where they went or what happened to them, but all we know is they disappeared, and then about 25 years later, the First Order showed up.
Wild Gravy says the Fork Awakens is the best because the cakes look delish.
Yeah.
And I like that the Wild Gravy is talking about the cooking episode.
Of all people.
I'm gonna start a YouTube channel called The Fork Awakens.
I don't see why not.
Ultimate Gamer VGC says, I'm excited to see the story mode of Battlefront 2. Any thoughts, Andrew, about anything major happening in the game that you know or think of?
Good question. Good question.
I think that we're going to get, maybe not a super major revelation, but I think we're going to get a little bit of an insight into what Palpatine's backup plan was all about. If you read the new canon comic Shattered Empire, it came out September 2015. What Palpatine did was he has these red droids. You know those red guards that he has, like, backing up? They got his back all the time in the throne room. He's got droids who look like those guards, except their face is a screen. And so what's been happening is that a bunch of these Imperial officers, after the Emperor died, they're visited by one of these droids, and they're like, oh, who are you? What's this about? What's going on? And this droid's screen face turns on, and there's the Emperor, and there's a recording he leaves where he's basically like, you know, these droids are my. I'll try to do the voice. These droids are my last will and testament, and then he kind of gives his instructions to these officers, like, okay, if you're watching this, I'm dead, so here's what I want you to do. But we don't really get the rest of that message. You see one of those droids in the Battlefront 2 trailer. So maybe, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we will see what kind of messages he's leaving for his different officers.
The Den of Nerds says, yes, the Sentinel droids. Nice catch, brother.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yay.
I feel, like, how many times have you watched the Star Wars movies to catch all this? Now, I'm not talking about the first episodes, because, like, do we have to count those as movies?
Yeah, well, I see where you're going with
The
that.
prequels? Like, do we have to?
Well, and that's another thing. Like,
Do you guys?
Yeah, do you guys count that as part of the canon?
Prequel? Oh yeah, I'm a big prequel fan.
What?
Yeah, I am.
It's okay.
Did you vet this guy before we brought him on?
Kimura, I'm so sorry. I should have known. I know this is really offensive. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kimura, I'm gonna say 2 words to you that will make you.
Be careful. Be careful. She's really good at this stuff. So be careful what you say.
No, I'm ready.
2 words about the prequels that will soften your heart to them.
Okay.
Colosseum battle. The Colosseum
I think
battle.
you need to elaborate.
I'm not softened. I don't.
At the end of episode 2, the Attack of the Clones.
No, I know. I remember.
There's a big old battle in the Colosseum, and that fight was magic. That is everything I love about Star Wars in one scene.
But 10 minutes of one movie doesn't give the 3 of them a reason to exist, especially episode 3. Oh my goodness.
You know what? I will agree with you. Episode 3 is my least favorite Star Wars movie.
It's like every actor got there and they're like, you guys just want to get drunk for the next couple
Yep.
months?
Yeah.
I don't really care about this movie and they've paid us already. We good? We good? Anakin, you're breaking my heart though.
That's a really good Natalie Portman impression.
Thanks.
I don't think
That's how good the acting was in the movie.
And he was like, oh man, it's the rat tail.
Padme, if you're not with me, you're my enemy.
And Obi-Wan was like, oh, this movie's bad. Let's just leave him in the lava.
Don't underestimate my power.
I've got the high ground.
Oh man, it could just go on. It really can.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, that was a cool fight scene. I'll give, absolutely it was. And there are, good parts of each of those movies, but I feel like if they had just compiled those good 10 minutes of each movie, that would have been fine for me.
Well, actually, they did make a...
Kill my sickest fool. That's such a good name.
I'm getting crushed. They didn't recut episode 1, or a fan did recut episode 1 to take out
Oh, it wasn't a fan. It was Elijah Wood, wasn't it?
There's a lot of them. There's one called
Elijah Woods is so good.
Elijah Wood has a cut. There's one called the anti-cheese edit, which takes out a lot of Gungans and stuff like that. I actually, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, Misplaced Crusader, but I wrote my own script of episode 1 after after Force
You never
Awakens.
Told me this.
Yeah, it was
in our 5 years of friendship.
It's probably so much better.
5, 6 years.
Actually, we've known each other for 10 years, brother. We're
old. My God, we've crossed the 10-year point.
We met in January 07, man. We're gonna go get our pension together. How's that sound?
My God!
But
not only did the Star Wars announcement happen, I've seen you again now on our 10-year point.
Yeah.
Holy poo!
But no, it was after Force Awakens came out. Every time I see a new Star Wars movie, it just jump starts the creative spark in my body. So after I saw that, I was like, I gotta write something new. I gotta do something with my life. So I sat down and I was like, you know what? Let me write the Phantom Menace as if I had been as if George Lucas had given me the treatment and be like, okay, write the script. So I did. I wrote the Phantom Menace. Jar Jar is still in it, but he is different. One day I'll show it to you.
Okay.
I'll email it to you or something. We're actually going to do, we're going to try to do on the Rebel Scum podcast channel a radio play of the script.
Oh, wow.
So
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, I'm going to get together with the guys there, and we're going to read it over, fine tune it, cast ourselves. James says he wants to be Watto, so him and I might have to fight because I like being Watto too. Watto is really fun. But no, it's going to be...
It's a great impression.
Yeah, thank you. But I'll definitely be Obi-Wan Kenobi though, because he's my boy.
Awesome. So just to jump back to the chat, for a little bit. The Den of Nerd says, LOL, I like the prequels as well. It's a great story that's told in okay movies.
Right?
Sith is a great movie, though. You're all crazy if you don't like Sith. Love the anti-cheese edits. And, right, that's not, this is not a Surface. Wild Gravy says,
Did you just try to touch the
yeah,
screen?
I've been using a Surface all day.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Wild Gravy says, I think Luke dies in The Last Jedi because it's called The Last Jedi. And Killer Rhino says, nah, he trains The Last Jedi, I reckon. Noid says, I also love the prequels. Z Power Dragon says, I've seen email so many time. What?
Is that a song lyric?
I don't know.
I've seen emails so many times.
I don't know. Ultimate Gamer VGC says to Wild Gravy, I think he's going to tell Rey that the light side ways of the Jedi need to end, and the gray Jedi are the way of the future. All Force users use both light and dark side balance of the fork.
Use the fork.
Says, episode 1 had pod racing and Darth Maul battle. Only bad thing was bad child acting. Cypher says, so great. Da Wizard says, hi ho everyone. Hello, Da Wizard.
Hi, Da Wizard.
What up, the wizard?
And I agree, the pod race is awesome too.
Right? But like, that's like Fast and the Furious Star Wars version.
Tatooine drift.
Right? That's what it should have. It should have been a side story. I don't know.
Just like
but
do
it is
like
really
yeah.
cool, but I don't know. Anyway, Ultimate Gamer says Qui-Gon Jinn died because Liam Neeson is too good of an actor. Kane Short says salutations. Renlot, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Yeah, that's very true.
Logger says, okay guys, let's get drunk and make episode 3 because we were really good at doing it in episode 1. Ryan One Killer says, I do a great Wookiee voice when yawning. And Wild Gravy says, use the beam, EZPlayCanada. Cool. There is a GPS mod you can get that's a Wookiee. And it is like, so the Wookiee sounds are like they're the same ones for the same words, so eventually you learn what the sound is for right and left.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
that's
God.
amazing.
I know, but like if you don't know the street names and stuff, you're just completely...
So if I miss my turn, it'll sound like Chewbacca is berating me for it.
Yeah.
That is,
I can't even do it properly. It sounds like I think it's funny when I do it, just because it doesn't sound anything like it. But like, yeah. But what I don't get is how come Han only understands Chewie? Like,
Rey can understand him too.
Rey can understand him.
Yeah.
How come Rey can understand him?
She's got some skills. That girl, we gotta find out what her deal is. She knows some stuff. There's something up with her brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether she's got amnesia or what, but she knows some stuff.
I was talking with somebody today, and they're saying there's a fan theory that Luke, like, Jedi wiped her brain, and as soon as she left her desert planet that's conveniently just like the desert planet he used to live on, that she would slowly start getting back her, like, memories or muscle memory.
What?
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
like
cool
huge
theory.
It's a huge fan theory, so that's why she, like, remembers how to lightsaber and how to speak to Wookiees and stuff.
That's a great, like, any, obviously there's a lot of gamers listening right now. Any Knights of the Old Republic fans out there, you know who you are. We know, the whole, their memory, force memory wipe is a real thing that you can do if you're a powerful enough force user. So that is absolutely within the realms of possibility for Rey.
Well, one of the greatest demonstrations of force powers I liked in the Force Awakens is how Kylo Ren can sort of like manipulate like the laser, like you know how he like stopped the laser.
Yeah.
Like that's friggin' cool. And then like the mind thing that he does, where he like makes them feel like fear and pain and.
Yeah, he can interrogate you with the Force, which is a terrifying concept. Like
He's kind of like Itachi.
Oh, what?
Somebody, no? Naruto? No? You guys?
I've never seen
Nope.
Naruto.
Okay, well, you guys suck, first of all. Itachi has the Sharingan, and he can make you feel years and years of torture by looking into your eyes with his, like, ninja power. It's pretty crazy, but he can, like, put fear into you, and it's awful.
what's it called? The Sharingan?
The Sharingan is his eye move, but I forget what the torture technique is called. It has a different name.
The Shining.
No.
Flat out no.
No. CNET says Naruto is cool. Thank you. Itachi's the best. Anyway. Ultimate Gamer says, ooh, mind wipes like Raven in Couture.
Mind wipe, Raven and Couture.
Yeah, Dark
So-
Revan, man.
And
he's-
Cypher says she's the reincarnation of someone. Tongue sticky out face.
So it was mentioned earlier, and that was the question I was trying to get at in my original conversation, which is what is the Grey Jedi? Like what? Like this is a big theory that everyone's pushing. Like oh the Grey Jedi, oh the Grey Jedi. Do they exist? What are they? Are they in the canon?
Isn't Mace Windu a Grey Jedi?
No, Mace is not a Grey Jedi. The whole concept of a Grey Jedi is sort of the best way to describe it is it's like a Force agnostic. You know,
Oh, okay.
they can comprehend the idea of the Force. They can see the potentiality of both light or dark sides, but they choose not to stray down either path. One of the best examples of a Grey Jedi, again, is Knights of the Old Republic, Jolee Bindo, the dude you run into on the Wookiee planet Kashyyyk there. Jolie's a Grey Jedi. He's got a lightsaber, he's got Force powers, but he doesn't see himself... actually, you know what? The term Grey Jedi is probably kind of an oxymoron. Like I think if you're Grey, you're not Jedi or Sith. I think so. So Jolee Bindo, he just sort of refers to himself. He's just like, I'm Grey. I'm in the middle. I use the Force. I'm spiritual with the Force, but I'm not going to commit to this Jedi dogma, and I'm not going to commit to this Sith sort of cult machination either. I just kind of want to walk the line and live my life with the Force by my side. And that whole concept of balance, it's almost kind of Buddhist in a sense, and a lot of the new characters who are Force sensitive in new canon are starting to embrace it. Grey is becoming a more and more prevalent thing in new canon, and there's a lot of buzz. We didn't see anything in the trailer that would kind of indicate whether this is for real or not, but there's a lot of buzz that maybe Luke Skywalker might have gone Grey. He's got nothing else to do on that island. I didn't see an Applebee's there, so I don't think he's, he's got to find some way to bide his time, so he's probably doing a lot of philosophizing, and I would do the same thing in his position, especially if my nephew killed all my students, and I was just like, you know what, man, life sucks. My dad was a Sith, my nephew's going down a dark path, he's probably doing drugs too, so I would probably go Grey too.
Yeah, he's looking to the original Grey Jedi, Gandalf the Grey.
That's right, Gandalf the Grey. And
He
then
set the path.
Luke's gonna fall off a mountain and wake up and be like, I'm a Jedi again.
Oh, kind of like somebody else who fell off a thing that was super obvious. It's like, oh no, don't go out onto that super rickety looking bridge and then stand there with your cheesed out son. Oh no, this looks like a real bad idea.
I'm gonna bring you back, son. I'm gonna bring you back.
I'm gonna come out there without a safety net or any kind of harness. It's looking pretty bad, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
I know you've got an emo haircut, son, but I'm probably sure you're not angry at me.
Stan says the Grey Jedi sounds like Star Wars version of the Greybeards from Skyrim.
Oh, good point.
And Ultimate Gamer says, I've heard that she's Palpatine incarnate.
The theory I buy into the most, I really want it to be true, maybe I'm biased because he's my favorite, is I want Rey to be Palpatine's granddaughter.
Oh.
But like, how could she be?
It fits with the timeline. I mean, Palpatine, let's be, he was a politician, he was the politician. That guy probably had some concubine action going on. You know that's.
He was pretty popular.
He was popular. He was a sexy man.
He was charming.
I'm sure he had a six-pack under that robe.
Yeah.
Palpatine must have, had some kind of relationship. Probably not a very loving one, I would imagine. And then I think that he had a child, maybe multiple ones, but he had at least one child. Obviously, that child was strong in the Force, so Palpatine didn't want any of that. He's like, I don't want any usurpers possibly pulling an Oedipus and striking me down, so I'm gonna try to kill my kid or banish them or whatever. That backfired. I think the kid ran away, went somewhere far away where they couldn't be found, met somebody else, fell in love, and had a daughter named Rey, and hid her away because they know how dangerous the potential is for the dark side in her. From a storytelling point of view, as a writer, if it was up to me, if they're like, Andrew, I want you to write episodes 7, 8, and 9, that's what I would do, because I think it makes Rey more interesting than anything else. I mean, if people are saying, oh, maybe she's Kenobi's granddaughter. which is fine, but that doesn't really change anything about Rey. It's just like, oh, Kenobi was my grandfather. Neat. Okay, let's move on. But if somebody told you and said, listen, you know, you sit Rey down in a chair and you're like, Rey, your grandfather was pretty much the worst human being who ever lived. He was, for lack of a better term, space Hitler. How would a person take that? That would crush their soul. That would, you know, turn their whole world upside down. Rey was, you saw her in The Force Awakens, she spent all her time waiting for her family. She was waiting for her family to come to her. If she finds out my grandfather was the Emperor, the baddest dude of all the bad dudes, all of a sudden she's going to do a complete 180 and be like, I don't want anything to do with my family anymore. I want to distance myself as much as possible. Or she might give in to the dark side that's in her, and then all of a sudden you've got a conflict brewing. That, like, there's so many possibilities if she's a Palpatine as opposed to being a Kenobi or a Skywalker or something else.
It's kind of like in Harry Potter when he finds out he has Voldemort in him.
Exactly.
And he's like, no. Cena says, I just don't think they use the Force to power throw goats at the troll like some people. We're talking about Star Wars being graybeards from Skyrim. And Noy says, too bad we aren't allowed to talk about Finn.
Oh, so that is a reference to my old co-host, Pasta Mizzou.
Oh, right. How much he loves Finn.
He went on, Fantasia, I wish you watched this. He went on, our show, like, finished its, like, 2.5 hour mark, and he was ready to clock out, and he went on literally a 30-minute rant on how useless Finn was in the entire movie.
There's no explanation for Finn, though.
Yeah,
it's just like, I've decided that I don't like this.
Yeah.
Nothing prompts it. Nothing's happening. He's just like, yeah, no, I'm not into it, even though I was programmed into it. It's fine. It's cool. I'm not going to tell anybody why, though.
Finn is my boy.
But, like, oh, you should have been there, though. Like, you should have been there to defend him because he went on for quite literally 30 minutes.
Wow.
And he just ran him to the ground. He's like, I hate his voice. And then talked about how he doesn't fit in the story, much like Kimura was saying. And, like, it was just the biggest rant ever. And people were like, and Noid was there. Noid, one of our longtime regulars and supporters. Just, like, Noid was there and just, like, everyone was trying to get him to rant more about it, so it was pretty brutal.
So before I go back to the chat, I just want to clear up something before we like try and figure out who Rey's mother is and whatnot, because I think we're all pretty certain that her father's Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of.
It feels like it's a given.
I don't think her father's Luke.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's just somebody else. He's just some random guy who was either one of Rey's parents. I think is Palpatine's offspring, but I don't think the other parent is anybody exceptionally important.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, well, so do Jedis take a vow of chastity? Because isn't it kind of like a faux pas for, what's his name, Anakin and Padme? Because they're like, oh, we can't do this because Jedi can't fall in love.
Yeah, that's right. They were...
Like, aren't they kind of monks?
They are. Yeah, it's a very monastic kind of order, like at least how it was in the prequels. And you're right. Anakin was breaking all the rules when he sat Padme down, and he's like, "Listen, I really like you. I think your hair's pretty and you smell nice."
I gotta tap that.
So it's he's literally the only Jedi you saw in those first 3 movies who took on a lover. Now, whether or not, that rule was broken before or since, we don't know. If Rey is a Kenobi, then obviously, yeah, Obi-Wan, he spent a lot of years on Tatooine. He's probably like, you know what, I'm very lonely. Let me go find someone and sleep with them. Because
I don't think he would break it, though. Like, he was pretty loyal to the...
He was.
I feel like Luke could have, because he wasn't actually like a for-realsy Jedi.
Yeah,
exactly.
He was like the street urchin version.
Though, to be fair, if I found out the only girl I'd ever kissed was my sister, I probably wouldn't be the most healthy relationship kind of guy. So that's why I'm still leaning towards... Palpatine in terms of her lineage, because he didn't, the Sith don't really, they never actually brought it up, to be honest, but as far as we know, the Sith don't have that rule. The
Sith they couldn't.
The Sith can be as dirty as they want. They can go sleep around.
They've got Sith strip clubs for sure.
I'm
There's a whole floor on the Death Star.
I'm willing to bet money that Darth Maul went to a rave. That's where he got the tattoos. He used the lightsabers as glow sticks. They were already ready made, and somebody was like, "Hey, I like your horns." And then
And he woke up the next day with a face tattoo.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention, and I flew into.
Killed by yourself.
I wasn't paying attention. I just like flew into the Star Destroyer.
Oh man.
And that's exactly what happened to Maul, and now he's a father.
But yeah, so they do take a vow of chastity.
Yeah, the Jedi
Yeah,
do.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yoda believed that, like, because, like, when Luke met Yoda, he said that, like, he used to run a council, which means, like, he pretty much gave up on the Jedi way of life at that point.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they do take that vow.
Yeah.
So it's most likely not Obi-Wan's child.
Right, and if he is, then he's got some splaining to do.
Well, he might just be very iron fisty about it. I don't know if you saw the Iron Fist.
I have one episode left.
Oh my god, where he's just so easily like gives up his voucher. Like he goes into that tower expecting to fight people, and this lady's like, "Hey, let's make out instead." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, but it's the daughter of the dragon. I would like.
No,
would consider...
not that one. I'm talking about when he goes into the tower.
The tower. Yeah,
the tower explicitly to fight people, and she's like, "Nah, B, let's make out."
But she was pretty attractive. Like,
yeah, but he hadn't even seen her. He was just listening to her, and then he's like, "Oh, there you are. Cool, let's make out."
The daughter of the dragon is more attractive, though.
Yeah,
That's
she
a
is.
beautiful girl.
But he doesn't even like stop for a second
No.
and be like, "Hey, listen, I took this vow.
But
I'm
my
gonna break it."
But my vow.
like, why even bring it up in the second episode if you were just gonna like full on throw it out the window?
I love that show, though.
And you know what? Fun fact: the actress who plays the daughter of the dragon, there, Jessica Henwick, she plays one of the X-wing pilots in The Force Awakens.
That's right,
She's part of Poe Dameron's crew, and actually her character's name is also Jessica.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Jessica Pava.
That's funny. The Den of Nerds says Finn's character was changed massively in the script. He was originally a way bigger badass. They did kind of do him dirty. And CNET says, if Rey's Obi-Wan's kid, wouldn't that make her Obi-Wan and a half? Canadian Short Stack says Maury Povich needs to be a part of this. And back to Beam. Ranelot says, who trained Kylo? Luke?
I think that's what we're supposed to assume. Yeah, Kylo was one of his students at the Jedi University there, the Jedi Academy that Luke set up.
While Gray says, Kylo Ren uses the Force at the studio where they make Star Wars. Why did you make the Christmas special? We wanted to make people cringe. Gray says, where do the Ewok movies fit in?
Oh yeah, those aren't canon anymore yet, but there's a lot of love for the Ewoks. Brock and James from RebelScumPodcast, they are Ewok fanatics. So is Aaron, and any mention of Wicket or of the Battle for Endor or Caravan of Courage, either of those movies, and their faces light up like Christmas trees. So there's actually a whole movement going on right now. There was a character in one of those movies named Teak. He's like this little monkey. He just kind of swings around on vines, and he goes like, ah! He's not a human. He's just like a little animal named Teak. But there's a whole movement that started on the Star Wars show on YouTube where they wanted him to be back in canon. So there's a whole thing right now, #BringBackTeak. They want him back. So there is love. Don't worry if you're an Ewok person out there, if you can't get enough short, furry little murder machines, there is love for the Ewoks out there and for their whole Endor universe.
I love the Ewoks.
Those little bears.
Ultimate Gamer VGC says they fit in the trash compactor.
Oh, that's cold.
I'm gonna fit you in the band section.
She can and will put you on a timeout. So.
I do that often. Don't say anything mean about little fuzzy animals.
We just got back one of our old regulars not too long ago after putting him on a timeout and then not seeing him for like 3-4 months.
Yeah, I put him on like a 600-second timeout, and then he just signed out for like 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, did I kill him by accident? Ultimate Gamer VGC says Star Wars, The Hangover. So Luke went to the island in shame for failing with Kylo. Mm-hmm. Well, probably also because he was the only Jedi left, and Kylo would come and kill him.
Yeah, there's there was a lot of hate, I remember, after Force Awakens came out. People saying like, oh, why did Luke run away like a coward and stay on that island? Like, why didn't he help and stay behind and sort stuff out? And what people have to remember is Luke Skywalker, he's a human being. He's not he's not Superman. He's got powers. He's really powerful. But at the end of the day, you're a man who had to, basically cut down and almost kill your own father. You're through all those traumatizing things with your dad, and then time goes on, you start retraining the Jedi, and then your nephew ends up turning to the dark side, killing all your other students, burning your temple to the ground. What does that do to a person? Luke must be feeling just torn apart from the inside out. All the stuff he's been through, you can only imagine. So I don't blame him for a second for just like running away, because it's a natural human reaction. I mean, the dude is hurt in so many ways. When you see him turn around and look at Rey and she holds up the lightsaber, the look on his face, that's not the look of a guy who's just like, I have all my, I have everything figured out. I know what I'm doing. That's not Luke, man. Luke is just, he's hurt, he's confused. I'm willing to bet solid money that when we see him in episode 8, he will have given up. He will be sour and bitter, and it's going to take Rey to pull him back to the light and say, hey, we can make everything okay again.
Yeah.
Except for that time when your best friend fell off the skinny bridge.
Yeah, that was my bad. I shouldn't have let him to that room.
Which is funny.
CNET says, welcome to Sith U, where we train you to betray your friends, murder younglings.
Yep.
Aww. And, it sucks because, like, when I saw that scene that you're talking about, I was like, oh, this opens up doors. But it was also shot kind of funny because they're, like, 20 feet apart and she's handing him the lightsaber. I'm like, so is he supposed to walk to you? Are you done walking at this point? And they're just going to shoot this for 30 seconds?
Well, remember, he's got the Force. He can just be like, thank you.
I know, but it's so strange.
Yeah.
Like, it's so unnatural. Like, you coming for this? Do you want me to toss it? Like, I probably should have kept walking.
Yeah. So while we're taking a pause moment, I realized that we haven't given away a prize yet, and it's been like an hour, which we would have given away at least one by now. So we're gonna give out a prize. So if you're on Beam, the prize is going to be up for grabs. So make sure that you hit the dupe button. Type in the word DEWP. That stands for dupe, and that will give you a chance to win a prize. So here we go. Let's roll it. And if you're following the channel, then you have better chances of winning. Yeah, so Luke, great background on that. Is Rey gonna get like a really cool staff lightsaber, do you think, or what's she gonna get?
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about that. I think that would be neat. I mean, what we saw in the trailer, she was just using the same single blue blade. But, like so many people have brought up, this girl has spent her life mastering fighting with that staff. So either she's got a big learning curve ahead of her, or Luke's going to be like, yeah, you know what? Let me just give you this double-bladed one because you clearly have an advantage if you're using that. So I would say do it up. Let's see a double-bladed blue lightsaber. Why not? Rey's got the home field advantage with that as opposed to a single blade. We can keep Luke with the single blade. I want to see him turn on that green lightsaber and just cap somebody. Please. Yeah, I'm hoping for a double-bladed one myself.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into what we should be talking about, and that's getting into the games. So Star Wars has had many games, a lot, like going back to the Atari days. So what is do you have like a list of games that you think qualify as an amazing Star Wars game? Thank you for the follow for that air horn. We just heard the air horn for
CNET.
CNET, thank you for the follow.
Thanks, CNET.
So what would be considered a good Star Wars game? What does it need to be a good Star Wars game?
I think bottom line, I know this sounds like an obvious cop-out answer, but it's not, I promise. It needs to feel like Star Wars.
Like this moment right
here. Like this moment right here. Ba-boom! The reason so many people love Star Wars, and I stand by this, again, as a writer myself, I can't just sit in front of a computer and be like, I'm going to write the next Star Wars, because it's not that easy. The reason so many people like Star Wars is because...
Ultimate Gamer VGC won.
Yay!
Way to
go! All right, we will send you your code in 1 second.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
is that you?
Yep.
That's funny.
But the reason so many people, I feel, love this franchise is because it feels like nothing else out there. It does nothing else, and that's almost a shame to me. I feel like, why can't somebody just make another great movie with like a beautiful universe that we can get lost in, and then we can have like 5 more of them? That just hasn't happened. There's been a lot of great film out there. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, everybody loves it. There's lots of great movies, but there hasn't been that original script that took the world by storm and created a new universe, just like lightning in a bottle, like the Big Bang. It just hasn't been done before, and it feels unlike anything else. So the games need to reflect that. Star Wars movies don't feel like other movies, so Star Wars games should not, in theory, feel like other games. They should transport you to that world and never let you go.
Yeah. So just to let you know, Ultimate Gamer, you have won a $10 gift card for Xbox. So congratulations, and thank you for joining us on the stream tonight. So out of the Star Wars games that we have, Andrew, what are some of the best ones out there? Let's hear like a top 10 list. In your opinion. Now I know you've been given some comments and feedback.
Well, the one big one that came from RebelScumPodcast is we all love Shadows of the Empire.
That's
N64 represent. Shadows was a lot of fun. The whole idea of Shadows of the Empire was so cool because it was a multimedia operation. It was a game, it was a comic book, and it was a novel, and there was a soundtrack composed for it. It was insane. And with how new canon works now, I can't wait to see them do something like that again. But Shadows was a great game. And then, of course, we have the Big Daddy. We have Knights of the Old Republic. If you're a Knights of the Old Republic fan out there, you know what I'm talking about. That game is just what a ride it took us on. I mean, for the time, 2003, I think it was. It's not the most open world game in the world, but damn, if it didn't give us that Star Wars feeling. I still remember the first time I got a lightsaber in that game. I was so excited. I ran out in the upstairs hallway in my house and was like, "Mom, I got a lightsaber!" And my mom's just like, "That's nice, dear." It was that game was just something else. I mean, they made the sequel. The sequel is great too. Knights of the Republic it grabbed you and it put you into Star Wars in a way that most games hadn't at that point. Another one that I really loved, and it was actually the reason I bought the first Xbox console. This was way back in the day. For all you youngins out there, you might not remember, there was this thing called Blockbuster Video. And what you could do was, it was like Netflix, but a store, and there were games in it. And
most of our viewers are like adults.
Yay! All right, so I can cut that preamble.
Yeah.
But I remember going to a Blockbuster with my dad, and at that time you could rent consoles. So Xbox was pretty squeaky clean. It was brand new at the time, so I was like, I want to rent an Xbox. I want to see what this is all about. So we rented Xbox, and we rented 2 games. My dad picked one. It was like 1080 snowboarding or something like that. And the other game that I picked was called Star Wars Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
This game, it might be, I don't know if it's my number 1 Star Wars game. I don't know, like I said, Knights of the Republic is still pretty high up there. Star Wars Obi-Wan was so brave in the new ground that it broke. If you all remember how the original Xbox controller was laid out, it was a little bit different from how the standard controllers are today, but it still had,
I love
the Duke. It was a big chunky mama. It still had all the features. Everything was just kind of slightly altered. But the way it worked was the left thumbstick controlled Obi-Wan Kenobi. The right thumbstick was not the camera. The right thumbstick controlled your lightsaber. So if you pushed it to the left, Obi-Wan would turn his lightsaber on and swing his lightsaber in an arc from left to right.
That sounds amazing.
It was...
I can't believe I have not heard of this game before.
Oh, man. It's incredible, dude. And I have it, but I have to like dig out my old Xbox because it's not one of the titles that was made backwards compatible on the 360. So I have to kind of get the old Xbox out if I want to play it again. But man, was it ever fun! And it's like just the lightsaber mechanic was so unique. Like I said, like when a droid shoots at you, if you hold down on the thumbstick at just a precise moment in time, you deflect the bolt right back at him.
Oh, that's sick.
Like it really made you feel like a Jedi. And there were like little bonus training missions where you're in the Jedi temple and you're fighting the other masters and you're training against them. The game came out shortly after Episode 1, like between when Episode 1 and 2 were coming out, so like 2000, I guess. And so we hadn't seen Attack of the Clones yet, but that game was the first time I got to see Mace Windu pull out his purple lightsaber and go to town. He was fighting me. He was like, I'm going to train you, boy. And then he took out his purple lightsaber, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry I made you mad. Please don't hurt me. You get to fight him. You get to go through the story. It's like there's a little pre-story that sets up Phantom Menace, and then you play through Phantom Menace leading up to a final boss fight with Darth Maul, which was spectacular. Like I said, it's a simple game. It's early Xbox, so it's obviously, it hasn't aged as well as I'd like it to, but man, that game, you owe it to yourself if you're a Star Wars fan or a Game fan, just to check out how it feels to use the lightsaber with a thumbstick. Because I don't know, personally, I feel like as great as other games are, as great as Battlefront is, using the trigger to swing a lightsaber just does not feel right. It doesn't feel as right as that thumbstick did. So those are probably my big three. Of course, the original two Battlefronts also, they left a big impact on me. Nothing beats walking around Mos Eisley as all your favorite heroes and villains and just slicing each other up and then capturing command posts.
That was fun.
Those were the days,
That was
right?
a great one. Which is funny because a lot of people compare Battlefront 2, I think it was, to this one. And they're like, it's not the same. It just doesn't capture the same experience.
It really doesn't. I mean, like this one that we're looking at now is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. But,
Well, one of the advantages in the original one was you can get out of your ship.
Yeah.
And then or get into a ship, fly over to the enemy Star Destroyer, get inside the enemy Star Destroyer, infiltrate it, take out the dudes, blow up the ship, and get out.
Yeah.
And they took away that element. And one of the core mechanics I like about this particular game is flying around in the X-Wing and blowing stuff up. Like, the flight mechanics in this game are so good. I have so much fun with it.
Yeah, they really the flying in here, you're right, is a lot better than it was in Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really made me smile from the Battlefront 2 panel, this new Battlefront 2, is that the multiplayer at least is gonna cross all eras.
Oh,
so
that's sick.
You're gonna get to play as a battle droid again, Roger. I mean, how fun was it? And like, remember the destroyer droids when you could play as them and you would roll around and then stand up and get your shield out?
Destroyers. Aren't they called destroyers?
Yeah, the destroyers. Man, that
Master
was great.
Destroyers.
I really liked the MMO.
Oh yes, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. The best part was the Datacrons and Hutball. Hutball is one of the best PvP maps of any multiplayer anything I've ever played. It was so good. That was awesome.
I've never touched that game, that MMO. So was it?
It is actually good. The Den of Nerds says, getting out of here, great show, very entertaining. I'll check this channel out more later. See
Awesome.
you later, Andrew. Well,
Thanks, Josh.
for joining us. We really we had loved having you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so honestly, it was one of the best multiplayer, single player experiences I've had. Like, the story was very unique depending on what character you chose, like what class. And it was all around you and how you were changing the galaxy, so that was really cool. But the parts playing with other players kind of took a back seat, and that was okay. And they put a lot of effort into the voice acting. So it is actually like a really great game. I think if you pick it up now, it's pretty cheap, and you don't have to buy the monthly subscription. That's just if you want extra features for the end game, which there isn't a lot of end game, but definitely worth picking up and like leveling up a character or two.
Now, what class did you pick?
I picked a bounty hunter, which was really cool because you could play as a healer, and you shot people with healing, which was like really interesting. But it was also very defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I also tried as a Sith, and that was a really cool story too. I did that just for the story.
And can you pick your species as well?
I can't remember. I think you have to be a human.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, you don't. You can't pick your species.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was really cool. Wild Gravy says, "Isn't it funny that if Anakin killed the one and only Sith Lord Jedis, would have a way bigger chance to win? But no, you sacrifice millions of people for your love, and in the end, she still dies. Gosh darn it, Anakin! Why you must kill so many people? It's your fault. Millions of people died."
I think when he said Jedis, he meant Jedis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then Noid says Smokes is looking into moving into Canada before July next year. Ultimate Gamer VGC says the only thing Anakin's missing is Peter Parker's Spider-Man 3 hair. Yeah.
Yep.
And Walgreens says, "Oh my God, Darth Vader, kill Obi."
Mm-hmm.
You joke.
So with the newer games coming out, Fantasia, we obviously have Respawn working on one, and they did last Titanfall. What we saw in the trailer during E3 was they were doing sort of some Jedi choreography for that game. And then of course we have the new Battlefront game, and they're working on just a ton of Star Wars games. So my question to you is, what do you want to see outside of Battlefront 2 being announced? What do you want to see in a Star Wars game? What does it take, like, to get you really invested?
Ooh, this is the question I was waiting for.
I know. I felt you were waiting for it, so I had to ask.
Well, I'm gonna answer it in a very particular way here, so bear with me.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop the names of 3 games, and then I want you guys to try to tell me what they have in common.
Okay.
Okay. So these 3 games are Batman: Arkham Asylum,
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption,
Okay.
and Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Okay. Now, what do they have in common?
There's something that they have in common.
Is it a voice actor?
No, it's something in the
game
style
mechanics?
of the gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah. The fighting system?
No.
Not the fighting.
I'm sorry, what was the middle one? You said Arkham Asylum.
Red Dead
Red Dead.
Redemption.
I didn't play Red Dead.
Ooh, you're missing out.
That's what everybody says. I just didn't like the main character.
I feel like, because like I see the character movement, like the way the character moves, and the tools they use. So like Batman, for example, he had access to the gadgets, and the fight system was beyond amazing.
It was, yeah.
The Red Dead though, like Black Flag specifically, is it the sword mechanics? Like,
Nope.
well, because Red Dead doesn't have a sword in it. You got me at a loss here, man. Like I see it, but I can't describe like how they would be in common.
Okay. Now this is this. If I was ever to apply for a
You're
job,
setting up the suspense
I know,
here.
right?
Like, it's driving me nuts.
if I was ever to apply for a job at on a development team, I would bring up this point to them, and be like, "This is how we can make a great game." So the 3 games: Batman: Arkham Asylum, Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Here's what they have in common: they take something amazing and they make you feel 100% what it's like to be that something amazing. Batman, a cowboy, a pirate. Every single aspect of being Batman, of being a cowboy, of being a pirate of the Caribbean, every aspect of it is addressed in those games. In Red Dead, you can lasso an outlaw and leave him on the train tracks and watch the train run him over. In Batman, you can use your detective work to find out where the Riddler's been hiding stuff and then beat up all his goons. In Black Flag, you can sail around the Caribbean, look at a ship, and swing yourself over on a rope like Jack Sparrow and take over the ship. It is literally like, have you ever wanted to be blank? Well, here, you can be blank. Those 3 games, I think, they set the gold standard, at least for me, of really putting you in the shoes of blank and making it as awesome as possible. So to answer your question, what Star Wars game would I like to see? I want to see them do that. I want them to take aspects of Star Wars, whether it's Jedi or smuggler or bounty hunter, take that aspect and say, here is exactly what it's like to be blank. And make that as rich and as detail-oriented as possible. Like, Star Wars is all about the details. We fans know that. And if they can succeed on a level that those 3 other games succeeded, boom, you have my favorite Star Wars game.
Well, I honestly, I was just
So,
like in
Wild
shock and awe.
Gravy is signing off. Thanks for coming on and being so participating.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we love
Wild
it.
Gravy.
Thank you. That was an awesome answer. I don't know about you, Kimura, but I was just like,
That was a pretty good answer.
Thank you.
yeah.
I feel like you're missing Dark Souls in that list.
She loves
I,
her.
But-
I am a huge Dark Souls and Bloodborne fan, yeah. I love
Well,
it.
I'm just gonna say that it puts you in the shoes of an adventurer more than any other game.
Mhm.
Because that's what it would be like. Nobody just has a quest for you. Come to my quest. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something to you once, and if you miss it, that's your fault.
Yeah.
There's no quest markers. There's no map. There's nothing. It's just, yeah, you're an adventurer. Okay, go.
Go have an adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fun.
So I think that really puts you in the shoes more than like any other game. But I definitely agree with you with like the glorifying of
Yeah.
being in those shoes.
Yeah, like
Um,
every cool thing about those 3 blanks you got to do. Even if it's like not historically accurate, even if a cowboy never actually did that and put a person on train tracks, that's something that's ingrained in the popular culture. That's something that we all sort of collectively think of. So to put you in those shoes and let you do that, if you want, it's not even a part of the main story. It's just something that's there. That's what I feel like Star Wars can and should reach for.
Yeah.
Well said. Well
Thank
said.
Somebody said Rogue Squadron was a great franchise.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I played only the first one because I didn't get a GameCube until really late in the game. But Rogue Squadron, the first one, there's my cousins and I clocked in a lot of hours on that. And I don't know if anybody out there remembers the cheat code where you could get a flying black car,
Yep.
like a luxury car. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was classic. Absolutely. So, but yeah, now obviously as a Star Wars fan, you must be in great shape though, because you're having so much content being released. I mean, you have the cartoons, you have a movie every year now.
Yeah, I think Disney has said nobody alive today is going to see the end of the Star Wars series because they're going to be making that many movies.
Now that makes me mad because that means I won't get to see what the ending is like.
Well, it's funny because we thought, for a short time there, we thought Return of the Jedi, that's it.
Yeah.
Done. But we all knew, because according to the history of Star Wars, George Lucas had originally planned out 9 films. That's true, right?
Yeah, it was a very, like, he kind of flip-flopped on it. Like, he would say sometimes, like, yeah, there's going to be 7, 8, and 9. We'll make that. And then other times he was like, no, I'm ending it with 6. So there was a lot of flip-flopping involved. But then after Revenge of the Sith, I think we all kind of collectively stood back and said, yeah, okay, so that's it. And we were cool with it. Star Wars kind of, it didn't go anywhere, but it just kind of drifted off the front seat of our minds. Like you guys said earlier, that was a period where we didn't get a lot of Star Wars games. I think the last big one that came out before this was The Force Unleashed. And, you got Force Unleashed 2, and then that's it. Then it was just silence. And then all of a sudden, Disney's buying Star Wars, and then boom, we're back.
I heard that Disney is thinking of adding to their Magic Kingdom an area completely devoted to bad guys.
That would be cool.
Right?
Oh,
So, like, Maleficent's castle, and then, like, there's gonna be Sith there and Darth Vader. But is he real? Like, he spent a lot of his life being a bad guy, but is he a bad guy? But I guess they're all kind of like that.
Yeah.
But that would be cool, right?
That would be cool. Yeah, I'd go hang out with Darth Vader. I really want to hang out with Jafar if he's there.
Jafar
Jafar's
is
my
like
boy.
the epitome of like bad guys. Like
He's
every
so
time, when like a bad guy looks like a bad guy, like Jafar is always the example. Like you can't just look like Jafar and like be a priest.
No.
Like you are a bad guy with nefarious ideals.
He wakes up every morning and he growls at himself in the mirror until he looks just right, and then he steps outside and starts his day.
Oh, that's hilarious. So there's a lot going on. Noid said Galactic Empire was also a great game.
Galactic Empire? I don't think I know that one, Noid.
Ooh.
By the way, are you named Noid after the old mascot for Domino's Pizza? If so, that's a really great reference. I like that.
Wow, I would have never guessed that. That really takes me back. Wow. That's a good question. Also, Noid, what game do you want to do for your stream, by the way? Which Noid, I realized when I booked Noid for his guest spot, he is streaming on May the 4th.
Ooh, wow, that's some good timing, Noid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great timing. So I feel like we have to play Star Wars.
Yeah.
However, I mean, we're playing Star Wars now, but it's up to Noid. But Noid, let me know in the chat, and we will.
Ooh, it was RTS.
It was an RTS.
Oh,
I know what he's talking about, and I think that was Empire at War. Empire at War had a Death Star that you get when you pre-order the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool when you push the button. It makes the sound of a Death Star shooting the game.
That's wicked.
It's pretty neat.
There's another idea for a future Star Wars game that I would love to see. And folks in the comments, let me know if you think this is a horrible idea, if you think it would be fun. Because one of my favorite franchises ever is Assassin's Creed. Especially the Ezio stuff. Ezio and I, we go way back. We're Italian brothers. I just love the gameplay in Assassin's Creed. I love the idea of exploring a map, opening it up, and finding things to collect, and having the things you collect unlock different things. Ubisoft is really good at doing that, and I feel like Star Wars has never given us that kind of game yet. They've never given us a, here, explore this area, fill out this map, find these treasures, and unlock new treasures. They've never, it's always been pretty straightforward. They have?
The MMO that I was just telling you about.
The Old Republic?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. There's a whole bunch of platforming where you have to like get to these datacrons, and the datacrons give you extra stats.
Is it datacrons or holocrons?
I think there's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a whole other side thing to try and get these things, and they were really hard to get, and sometimes you needed like 4 people to unlock them. But yeah, that's the game you're describing, and it exists.
Well, this just goes to show I need to play more. I need to play more MMOs. But I've always ever since the Disney buyout happened and they talked about new games, I have been salivating at the idea of like a parkour exploration Assassin's Creed style game in Mos Eisley. Like, somebody please give me that game. I will cry if I don't get it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, there was a big Jedi games like Jedi Outcast. That was one of my favorite third-person adventure games.
Holocron and Datapad. That's what it was.
And I was also a very big fan of Force Unleashed. The first one was amazing. The second one,
you know what? It was actually a lot of fun on Wii because you had the Wii mode, and it was like.
The controller interaction on the Wii was infinitely better. Also, actually, I find the storytelling was better on the Wii as well because they had different missions, and different missions told different parts of the story. The Xbox version, though, visually was better and a lot of fun. But yes, Force Unleashed was a great Jedi game. I think Jedi Outcast was the closest we get to a good Jedi game in terms of the feeling and flow. Although the Obi-Wan I never heard of. And I'm quite amazed at that.
If you can get your hands on it, man, I promise you will have, like, I actually don't know where my original Xbox is. Like I said, I have to find it. But if I ever locate it, I'm going to call you over to my house. We're going to play Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit down and watch you play it. And just you're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, I missed you too, buddy. I missed you
too.
I know.
Other Barbara says 1313 was going to do that, I think. Exploration.
That's right, yeah. And that's another thing too, 1313, like Coruscant, man. Coruscant there's so much potential there for gaming. I mean, I hate to be the guy who always brings up this, like in the gaming world, everybody always says this, but GTA on Coruscant, how much fun would that be?
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, I remember the game too was specifically stating that you would not be a Jedi, like you're more or less a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
But Jedi would be in it and you'd be facing them.
That's right.
Yeah. That game had so much because like LucasArts was an amazing studio for Star Wars games. Like it's really a shame what happened to LucasArts. They did so many point-and-click adventure games. Like you would know them from your X-wing TIE Fighter, and then you had also point-and-click adventure games like Full Throttle, which just had a remaster, and then you also had Curse of Monkey's Island, but you also had Rebel Assault. You also had Jedi Outcast, you had Dark Forces, you had so many Star Wars games, and they were all just flat out amazing.
And you know what? You bring up Jedi Outcast. They did something so awesome with multiplayer, and I really wish the new Battlefront had done it with the bots.
Oh,
you could program the multiplayer bots, and I remember there was a mode where you could give everybody lightsabers,
Yes.
So I would always run around as Lando Calrissian with a purple lightsaber because I could.
Because you could.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Speaking of which, the prequel movies, so Rogue One, that was one that came out, and it was an amazing story. Thoughts on Rogue One, and then also follow-up question is thoughts on this young Han, young Lando movie. Which the actor is playing young Lando, I'm very, very excited for.
Yeah, Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
He's a perfect choice.
Yeah.
So Rogue One was awesome. I mean, going into it at first, I don't think anybody knew what to expect because we hadn't seen this type of Star Wars movie before. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little sad, and I still am a little sad that we didn't get an opening crawl. I understand completely why they did it. I feel like having the crawl would not have made anything worse. It wouldn't have ruined it. So a little piece of my heart really wishes there was one in there because it's just not the same without it, man. It's just not. But Rogue One was superbly done. The Battle of Scarif was. I do this thing every year called the Fanny Awards. I do it on my Facebook. You can find me on Facebook at Andrew Fantasia. Where I do, it's called the Fanny Awards, where I give out my version of basically the Academy Awards, but my own personal category. So I don't have Best Actor, Best Actress. I have, obviously I have the Best Picture. I do like a countdown, the top 10 best movies, but I also do like Best Fight Scene. I do Best Trailer, little things like that. And for Best Fight Scene, that award was a shoo-in. It went to the Battle of Scarif at the end of Rogue One.
Oh, yes.
Because that fight, I used the analogy to describe it. It reminds me of, remember when you were playing with action figures as a kid?
Yes.
And it's like you're on the floor and you have like 2 guys fighting on the floor, but then you also have like a tank on the bed with 6 guys fighting on the tank, and then another guy on the dresser, like sniping everybody. It felt like that. There were so many layers to everything, and it was just, you bounce from one part of the fight to the other, and every piece of the action feels important, and you're right there with them. So Rogue One, like it's full throttle at that point.
Oh yeah. And
of course there's, I know it's divisive, but I personally was absolutely blown away in the best way possible by the CGI Tarkin and the CGI Leia.
Yeah, there was up and down reviews on that. I think Tarkin had a bit too much time.
Yeah, he's like a full-on character in that movie. That's insane.
So I felt that it was great to have him. Like I was excited to see him, but I felt he had way too much screen time because then you start realizing that it's a digital, kind of like markup where Leia was like the perfect amount of time. Like it was just right kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. They I think they found, we're not out of the uncanny valley yet, but they're pretty darn close. And actually, James Razile from RebelScumPodcast, he tried a test on Rogue One because he saw it before his wife Erin did.
Yeah.
So when he took his wife the second time, she knows Star Wars now from hanging out with us, but she's not as big a fan of us. Like she doesn't know who Peter Cushing is. She doesn't know who Tarkin is. So she was kind of going into that with a clean slate. So he told her before the movie started, he said, Erin, I want you to let me know if any of these people in this movie look fake to you, if anybody looks like a cartoon character. And she's like, okay. So the movie started, the movie ended, and he's like, so who was a cartoon character? She's like, I didn't see anybody cartoon.
Oh.
So it worked. And even my friend Tiago, I took him along. I was like, I'm going to tap you on the shoulder when a character comes on, and he's not going to be real. And he was like, oh, okay. So when Tarkin came on, I tapped my friend on the shoulder, and he's like, that guy's not real? I said, yeah, he's completely computer generated. So they, like, obviously, because we know that the actor is dead, and because we know that this was a fabrication by ILM, I guess part of that slipped through the cracks of our suspension of disbelief. But to most people, man, that was... they did it. They sawed somebody in half on stage and left us thinking, how did they do that?
Wow, this is a good point.
It's definitely better than the young Arnold in Terminator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had to go there. Go there. Yeah. All right. So any feedback from the chat?
No, I think everybody's just hanging out, listening to all the stories.
Mm-hmm. I noticed CNET said Dark Forces was a legit Star Wars game, which is definitely...
Dark Forces, I'm trying to remember which one that was.
That was about Kyle Katarn. who's like one of my favorite Star Wars heroes.
So that was how he started, and then he went into Jedi Outcast, right? Because he was the main protagonist in Jedi Outcast too.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
He was the main protagonist. I feel like he was the love child of Obi-Wan and Han Solo. Like, that's essentially what he was. His canon actually was really interesting because his dad was like a part of the Valley of the Jedi. Do you think we're gonna see something on Valley of the Jedi?
Absolutely, man. I think that again, any Knights of the Old Republic fans out there,
is that like Irish Island at the end of Valley of the Jedi?
It might be.
Really?
I think there's something ancient there. But if you remember from Knights, the planet Korriban, which was the Sith homeworld, it's where they started. There's a Sith Academy there.
I went to the Sith Academy.
You went to the Sith Academy?
When I was in Star Wars.
In the MMO?
I played Sith.
Yeah. So they probably had it there too, right?
Yeah, they did. It was really cool.
And the way Korriban is set up is awesome because it's kind of like ancient Egypt here on Earth. Like there's this valley with all these pyramids and rocks and these ancient statues. It's called the Valley of the Sith Lords, and there's all these huge statues of just really mean-looking Sith dudes just hanging out and making you wish you were somewhere else. But that planet was my favorite planet in that game, and you could go into the tombs of these ancient Sith and raid their tombs. And now that planet, it's been changed a little bit for new canon. It's not called Korriban anymore. It's called Moraband. And we saw it in Clone Wars Season 6. And I think, and I hope, that we're going to see it again, if not in The Last Jedi, then in Episode 9. Because I think that planet is where Snoke is hanging out.
Oh.
I don't necessarily think he is a Sith per se, but there's so much lore there. There's so much that goes back to the good old Republic days that just feels to me like that's where Snoke would set up his base of operations. So when he says, bring Kylo Ren back to me for training at the end of Episode 7, I'm like 90% sure he's taking him back to Moraband, and I really hope we get to see it. It might even be that planet we saw in the trailer with the skimmers when they had the red dust coming out of them.
Yeah.
Which was my favorite shot of that trailer. I want to see some Valley of the Dark Lords, man.
Ah, nice. Good call out.
The other barber says, can't wait for that Knights of the Old Republic remaster to come out.
Yes.
Oh, is that for sure coming out? Are we getting that?
I don't know. Is that official, Other Barber?
I don't think it was official, but I know it's getting a lot of traction. Like, it's picking up steam.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Lego Star Wars games?
Oh, they're so much fun, man. I remember renting the first one with my cousin, and he's as big a Star Wars fan as I am. Like he used to live with me at the time that Revenge of the Sith was coming out. So literally every day I'd come home from school, he'd come home from work, and we would jump onto the Force.net. If anybody of you remember the Force.net, and we'd be like, "What news is there?" But we rented Lego Star Wars the day it came out. We went to that Blockbuster place I told you about, and we played it, and man, was that game ever fun. It was just so delightful. There's so much to do, and I picked up the second one when it came out with the original trilogy, and I got the Force Awakens Lego game as well, and that one's great. I wish there was more to it because all the other Lego games have been trilogies, and this one's just one movie. So I'm like, I need more right now. But if you haven't played the Lego Force Awakens, they do this great thing where there's scattered throughout the world, you can find Lego characters frozen in carbonite.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. They're very, very hard to find, but if you find them and take them back to this room in your hub world and you thaw them out, they are characters from the prequels and from the originals, and you can play as them in the story mode.
What?
So,
That's really cool.
yeah, I unlocked the first guy I unlocked was actually Darth Maul, and he,
Perfect.
he's now I can be Darth Maul running around Jakku, so it's great. They put a smile on my face every time.
Noe says, I loved the Super Star Wars trilogy, thinking those games probably haven't aged well. Yeah. And Shitsu on You says, Knights of the Old Republic, anything would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree, Shitsu on You. I want to see that. I want to see the Old Republic again. My only concern is the whole matter of Darth Revan, because everybody loves Darth Revan. We know that, but I'm going to say something that's going to make me really unpopular here. I don't want to see Darth Revan again. And it's not
outrageous.
It's not because I don't like Revan. I love Darth Revan. I love the story of Darth Revan. But the way Revan was created, and if you played Mass Effect, it's the same kind of thing as Shepard. Revan is this androgynous person. You can make Revan male or female. Mine was female. You can make him or her the kind of personality you want them to be. So there's so many variables that are created by you that in the world of new canon, I just don't think that kind of character fits. I mean, we can't really have this part of Star Wars. This is amazing what you're doing here. All these heroes. I've never seen this mode before.
Yeah.
You can't really have this thing in Star Wars canon where they're like, oh, remember Darth Revan, that person who may or may not have been male and may or may not have been a jerk and might quite possibly have blown up a planet once. We're not sure. Like, I feel like that takes away from the lore of Star Wars, and they're really focusing on the lore of the galaxy in this new world we live in now. So I would rather not see something like Darth Revan. However, yes, I want to see the Old Republic. I want a game set in the Old Republic. And I think the perfect way to do it, if you're going to go, again, the way the first game went or the way Mass Effect goes, if you're going to go the BioWare route and play as a character who can flip-flop between personalities, the best way to do that, make the player character, make the main protagonist a droid. Because the droid can have a million different personality matrices and memories implanted in their brain. The droid can literally, it's gift wrap for you.
The Old Republic is actually a BioWare game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
Yeah, that was BioWare's like first little foray into like what they've been making now.
Awesomeness.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
If you want that character like Revan or like Commander Shepard, the droid is literally, it's gift wrap for you because it's a part of the Star Wars universe, and it offers you that opportunity to make a character who is malleable to the point where what my droid does and what Misplaced Crusader's droid does, that can all be canon because maybe that's all part of his programming. Maybe he's programmed to think, yes, I have lived this life where I'm a jerk who blew up a planet and killed a child so I could steal his money. And at the same time, yes, I'm also programmed to believe I've had this past where I tried to become a Jedi and I swung a lightsaber around and I saved this world from a Rancor. It can all work because it can all be part of what was programmed into this droid's life. And there you go. You have a canon character who works. You don't have to worry about stepping on anybody's toes story-wise. It's literally, it can work so well. I hope that's what they do if they go about the BioWare route.
Ultimate Gamer says KOTOR 3 should be about finding out what happened to Revan, not playing as.
That's true, yeah. Except you still run the risk of, like, if you're trying to find out what happened to Revan, you're going to inevitably start talking about Revan. And that means you need a concrete answer as to who Revan was, what Revan's gender was, and what they were like.
But have you heard of the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise?
Well said, Kimura. Well said.
He wasn't as wise as he thought he was.
They were saying that Snoke was their theory was that Snoke is Dark Plagueis, like he was able to resurrect himself. That seems to be a popular theory as well.
It was, yeah. That was actually before I saw Force Awakens. That was my initial thought. I was on board for that because I loved the idea of seeing Plagueis. I was like, yeah, man, it's gonna be Plagueis. It's gonna be great. Now I'm not buying into it as much, but I wouldn't I wouldn't be disappointed if that's what it turns out to be. I think that bringing Plagueis into the picture is a really cool move, if it's done well.
If it's done well, yes.
Other Bar says, just give me more Star Wars to play, not just MMOs or like League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Ooh, like a MOBA of Star Wars would be really cool. Like if you're just playing like Puttball and like that's it. Oh man.
Well, my our buddy David Schilling, he showed me this game on his phone. I can't remember what it's called. Star Wars Battlegrounds or something. I don't know, that new mobile game. I haven't picked it up yet, but it looks like a lot of fun where you just have like random battles and you level up your characters and stuff like that.
Does it involve like a circle arena and then the ships come in and you have to like strategize how your ships move?
I haven't seen ships. It's just like you have like a little team of like 5 or 6 people and they just shoot at each other. They just fight each other. I can't remember what it's called now, but there was another mobile game that came out slightly before The Force Awakens. You remember? I think it was the very first new canon game. And that one did not fare so well. That was kind of like Diablo, the way it was laid out.
Oh, yes.
And it was all mobile, though, and I played it for a bit because, I'm a Star Wars junkie. I was like, I have to play this. If I don't,
I gotta play. I gotta just hook it to my veins.
Just hook it to my veins. Yeah. But when I started playing it, I was just like, okay, cool, this is fun for about 5 minutes, and then I was like, nah, this isn't doing it for me. So I dropped that one pretty quickly. But this new one, I can't remember what it's called, but it looks a bit more fun, and I'm anxious to try it out. There were a lot of people at Star Wars Celebration in line in front of me who were passing the time waiting by playing this game, and I was like, crap, I wish I had that game. So I'll get it eventually.
Oh, it's called Star Wars Heroes.
Thank you. Yes, Star Wars Heroes.
Canadian Short Stacks. Yeah, Canadian Short Stacks here, letting us know from the chat that a friend of Andrew's is on the chat, and his name's David Schilling.
Hi, David Schilling.
And he pointed out that the game is called Star Wars Heroes.
Thank you. Yeah, he's the one that I initially saw play for the first time, and yeah, it looks fun. It's just a quick little mobile thing, but it looks at least better than that first one.
Yes. All right. So while we're taking a little off-topic chat here, we're gonna play a game ourselves, and it's called a giveaway, and we're gonna do a giveaway on Twitch this time. So if you're on Twitch, make sure you type in Dupe in the chat, and we'll roll it.
Can I type in Dupe in the chat, or is that not allowed?
No. You're on the stream right now. You don't need to type Dupe in the chat.
I literally have not stopped typing Dupe into the chat since we started this conversation.
So yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the Star Wars mobile games are always interesting as well. But yeah, who was that just shot me?
I'm sorry, I'm really curious. I've never seen this mode before that you're playing in this Battlefront. What is this? I've never seen it with the heroes fighting each other. I didn't know they had this.
Well, Fantasia, I'm glad you asked. This is the Heroes mode. This is a new map that was added in the DLC pack, where you have heroes, where 4 of the players get to pick a hero. So you have Darth Vader, and you have them from not every single generation, and mostly the second half of, or I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. First Star Wars.
There's no prequel stuff in this game.
There's no prequel stuff in this game.
Sad.
There is prequel references, as the shield from the shield that the Jar Jar Binks people have. The Gorgons. The Gorgons. The shield technology they have in this, but that's like it's very small minor references. And in this case, once you defeat all the heroes, if you're on the villains team, then you win.
Oh, neat. So this is basically the equivalent of the Mos Eisley thing from the original Battlefront 2.
That's right.
Nice. And how many different heroes and villains are can you select from here? Is there like a big roster?
There's a pretty big roster. You can select many different heroes. As you can see, you got Leia, Luke, Lando. You got, I don't know who that guy on the far right is.
That's Num. Yo, that's my Celestin from another mother.
But you do have quite a bit. And then you have Boba, you have the Emperor, you have Vader, you have the scientist guy from Rogue One.
Wait, why is the Scout Trooper a hero? He's just some dude.
No, they're like we're just minions.
Okay.
Only certain people get to be heroes, and it's randomized.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but they have a lot from the original canon, and they have a lot from some of the later canon. So they have Jyn Erso, and they also have oh man, who else?
Krennic. I thought
Krennic, yeah,
I saw Krennic earlier.
That's his name, Krennic. All right, we're gonna roll the prize for the Twitch side of life. And the winner is Z-Power Dragon. You're the proud winner of a $10 gift card. Sorry, my horn was broken. There we go. So, yes, please let us know in the chat what region you are from, and we'll get you a gift card.
I like MOBAs, also the other barber.
MOBAs are cool. I like MOBAs.
Man, you took that opportunity where I went to go get tea to completely infringe on my space.
I'm sorry.
He's leaning very dominantly now.
It's this studio, though, it's very professional and very beautiful. It is a tight space. It was not meant for more than 4, and even with 4, it's a pretty tight space. The chairs take up a lot of space.
Yeah, they do. They're very wide.
But it's a nice studio, and I like it. So the only thing I would improve on is the air conditioning.
Yeah.
As it gets very warm in here very quickly. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Z-Power Dragon is US, if I'm not mistaken. And Z-Power Dragon, I haven't seen you in a while. But you were one of our original regulars, and then you disappeared for a bit.
I did read your comment, other barber. I like MOBAs if they're done right. Like I like Smite. I'm just bad at it. I haven't played League, to be honest.
Mm.
But if there was like a Hutball MOBA, that would be awesome. You could play as like Sith or Jedi and bounty hunters. I think that'd be really cool.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm just.
So what do you want, Elderbar? Do you want like an RPG? Do you want a shooter? Like, what exactly do you want here?
What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, just tell us.
Z Power Dragon says, I know I got super busy with job and wasn't able to join.
No
So
excuse.
I guess now you're back.
No excuses.
Well, there's excuses. That's cool. We get it. We are migrating to Beam, though. By July, we will not be streaming on Twitch anymore, apparently.
Honestly, we were told from the US team that we should just be giving away prizes just on Beam, but we were very Canadian about it, and we're like, we'll just give away if you want Beam and if you want Twitch, and then eventually we'll like fully migrate the prizes over to Beam. But for now, we're just trying to be as Canadian as possible.
You know what? I feel like we need to end the whole Canadians are polite thing. And I feel like anyone who's driven on the 401
Oh my God, yes.
knows that Canadians are no more polite than anybody else. Because the 401 is a terrible, terrible place. And the people on it are awful.
This is true.
It's bad, man. It's a really bad highway. I
It's a
don't
bad
recommend
place.
driving on it at all.
I've seen, like, you know those lists that pop up on Facebook? I've seen the 401 listed as some of the worst traffic in the world.
Wow.
So worse than LA, worse than Hong Kong, 401, I hate you.
This is a very, very angry statement.
That's because I'm on it every day.
Yeah.
Every day is a 50-50 chance that my car could get killed by some truck.
dented.
I actually almost was smooshed by a huge truck that was like, that pulls all those cars, you know, with like the upper and lower deck.
Mm-hmm.
He just started coming into my lane. And even though I was honking, he was still coming into my lane, and I had nowhere to go. And if the truck behind me hadn't honked his horn, then I would have been crushed.
No,
Wow.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
it was very scary because there was like a go bus ahead of me. There was no speed, like there's nowhere. It was just me and this truck and the guardrail. And then tears. I hate you, 401.
So if you ever visit Canada, folks, you
know.
know where not to drive.
Yeah, avoid the 401.
Yeah.
Just pretend like we're still polite. It is a land of no signals.
Exactly. Land of no signal. Yeah. Actually, I've seen like weird accidents too, where you kind of just like go like, how? Like, how did you end up in
Yeah.
that position? Like, it just makes no sense.
I'm gonna say texting.
Yeah, probably.
That's
But
how-
like, okay, so just to give you some context, there was a car where it should have flipped over on its right side, but somehow
You told me about this.
it flipped over on its left, but it was on the left side of the wall. So
Yeah.
like,
What?
yeah, it makes no sense. Like, it should have flipped. If you hit the wall, it should have rolled on its right side because it was on the left wall. But somehow it like reversed flipped and landed on its left side.
The only explanation is he had a button on his steering wheel like Speed Racer, and he was in the
Yeah.
middle of one of those flips.
Yeah.
Or he was pressing triangle to correct his self after he fell and then
Yeah.
fixed it.
Yeah.
Other Barber says he wants anything that isn't a MMO, MOBA, or mobile, really. So he wants first-person shooter, an RPG, or an action platformer. I don't know, just about anything. And Lobo Grande is joining us and says, hi, all.
Lobo.
Hey,
And
what's going on?
Cypher says,
Bring back Sheriff Lobo.
I can't wait till next week. I'm getting a new laptop, and I won't always have to watch on my phone. That's pretty exciting.
Nice.
And Noid says, I want another flight sim. Well, how about just pod racers? Can we just have pod racers again?
You know, I totally forgot about that when you guys were asking me about like my top 10 old Star Wars
Love
games. I
pod
totally forgot the
racers.
pod racing, man. That game, shout out to Gaz Gano. He was my go-to racer. That was so much fun.
Gaz Gano?
He was the big, tall, like six-armed guy who went
Oh.
and his pod was green.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um,
I sucked at that game.
Smoker says, try the 5 and 405. Is that in California? Noise says, I can't wait for self-driving cars. Smoker says, it can't be as bad as LA, impossible. I've been to LA traffic, and it's bad. It is definitely bad. The 401 can be worse. It is a nightmare.
I think Pasta said it best. He's like, yeah, you know, traffic in the U.S. is bad because he drove in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which Pasta has the attitude for it. You know, like
You have to be very aggressive.
some people are good drivers, but when you go to like a different place,
Yeah.
when you go to a different place, no matter how good of a driver you are, you're just not used to the flow of traffic.
Well, the problem is in Toronto, people just brake for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they forget that if you take your foot off the gas, your car will slow down. They just full on brake.
Yeah.
So the 401 is super slow because people are just braking for no reason.
Yeah. So the Pasta driving in the U.S., he's like, and this is how he phrased it. So they're like, yeah, see, traffic's really bad here. And he's like, no, it's not. And they're like, what? And like in the Pasta tone, like Pasta has a very like tone. It's a very manly tone. He's like, no, it's not. And they're like, how? How is it worse? He's like, your traffic moves.
Yeah.
And that was his like counter one-liner.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traffic moves. The 401, if you get on it at 5 o'clock, that is where you live the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Whenever people post on Reddit about bad traffic, somebody will come in and be like, I see you've never been on the 401.
Oh.
And then it goes into children have been born, lived their lives, and died on the 401.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
I took the 401 to get here to this meeting, and it was during rush hour.
Yep.
That's why I was almost late.
Yep.
Oh, Kimura could tell you many tales.
We left an hour and a half early just to be safe.
It takes me 2 hours to get here.
Jeez.
It's ridiculous. But it's not a 2 hour drive. When we leave here, it takes me 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's nothing for us.
THC says it can't be as bad as LA. And Ultimate Gamer says, THC, I've been to LA, you have nothing on the 401 in Toronto. Canadian Short Stack says, but it is, I've been to LA. Also, it's the Wild West out here. THC says the worst driving is in India. Yes, but because half of those cars are like half of cars.
Yeah.
Like, they're all Frankenstein's creation cars. Like, did you ever see that Pimp My Ride episode where somebody had 3 cars that was like welded into one car?
Oh my god.
And they ended up just throwing it out and giving him a brand new one.
Oh wow.
Like, that's all the cars in India. And Noid says pod racers for VR.
Ooh, you're onto something there, Noid. I like that.
Yeah. So we're gonna do one more prize giveaway on the Twitch side. So start typing dupe, guys, and we're gonna see who the winner is.
How do you spell dupe?
DEWP.
Okay, I just typed it in 90 times. I better win.
Yeah, we used to have a sound wheel that would play, and it would go like this. It would go, and then what people would do, because they knew they had to be active in the chat to be eligible and following the channel, they would type in dupe as the sound effect that is made, right? Kind of like an automatopoeia.
Yeah.
And so that's why they would type in dupe. It's called a rack, or in Canada. Oh, here's all the rebels, by the way.
You have to be Leia.
Okay. So you would type in dupe to be active in the chat, and then you play the sound, and then we'll find out who the winner is.
Nice.
Good times. Now, why did you make me pick Leia?
Because it's Leia, man.
Leia's awesome. Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. She was awesome.
Aren't you a little short for a misplaced crusader? Oh!
Why would you say that? Why would you butcher such a line?
I just met the other crusader, and he's also like sort of tall.
The other crusader?
Your brother?
Oh yes. We're the same height actually, and we sound the same.
That's true.
Yeah. No, very excited. For those of you who don't know, the Crusaders are going to BlizzCon, so we're very excited. It's gonna be good times.
Yay.
When is that?
That is in November.
Oh, okay, cool.
So here's the example. Fantasia, the shield.
Oh, right. He got this, man. He's just the Emperor. What's he gonna do?
He's got Boba with him too. And the Fetts. So, can you explain the big following about Boba Fett? Like, he doesn't really do that much in the movies, yet people love him.
I guess I didn't understand it as much as I do now that I've gotten Captain Phasma. Because I feel the same way. Captain Phasma, she showed up in one frame of that trailer, and we were all like, damn, she looks cool. And I was on board that hype train too, so I was like, give me Phasma, she's awesome. And again, she didn't do much in that movie. But I still love her, and now I understand more, because before I was like, yeah, I don't get it. What's the big deal with Boba Fett? I mean, he looks cool, and that's about it. But now I can kind of see from that point of view, yeah, man, like people like Phasma, they look cool, and they are so like, they're ideally Star Wars. They're just, you look at them and you think Star Wars. I remember when we first saw Phasma, I was like, of course there'd be a chrome stormtrooper. I mean, there's white ones, there's gray ones, there's black ones. Of course we would get one that's chrome. It was only a matter of time. So to make her like not just chrome, but like a special character, to make her more than just a type of trooper, was such a cool decision. So I'm on board to see anything with her, and now I can totally feel the Fett love. And he's still a big question mark, because people, back in the days of Legends, he was alive after Return of the Jedi. He got out of the Sarlacc pit, but now we don't know if he's alive or dead. They teased that his armor was found by somebody. That's also in the Aftermath books, but Fett could very well be dead or alive. We don't know yet. We gotta wait for them to tell us. So all you Fett fans out there, I feel you.
Oh, so wait, you're saying Fett is maybe still alive?
Maybe. He was back in the day in the old books, but now with new canon, they haven't touched on him yet.
Oh.
I feel like the whole chrome outfit thing, like I just watched Mad Max Fury Road again.
Yeah.
Like the War Boys would be so pumped to see a stormtrooper that's all chrome.
Oh, they would worship at her altar like that.
All shiny and chrome.
Yeah.
Witness me. That's some of the best line ever. So good.
So I noticed the other barber's asking something, but
I can't see it because of this message.
Wasn't Phasma in the episode 8 trailer?
She was. She was in it for another brief snippet of time too. Actually, even briefer than she was in episode 7. And from what I hear, it's kind of hard to tell by that trailer, but from what I hear, she's carrying a spear now.
That's cool. She's like a dragoon.
Yeah, man.
Dragoon.
And so she's got a cape and a spear. She's basically Leonidas from 300, covered in chrome. Boom. There's an action figure.
Cypher is doing a speed course on ukulele.
Oh, wow.
Did you give him his code?
I gave Alex Brown his code.
Sweet. Did you? Because the other person whispering was Z-Dragon.
Oh, I fixed that too.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm on it.
Awesome.
it like a bonnet.
Do they still have that?
And smokers.
Yeah, see that now and see
Yeah.
it. I'll fix that.
Is it because somebody's not marking them down?
I don't know what it is, because I have been pretty on top of these things. But I will fix that too. Could be just THC is looking for some extra codes.
No,
while
THC
you do
wouldn't
that, I'll
do
take
that.
over as Lando, because he's my
There you go. Let's
Lando Calrissian. Here we go.
Let's let Fantasia take over and play a few rounds here.
Guys, I have not played this game since the night it came out.
Wow.
Because I played it for about 40 minutes, and then that was all the single player that there was, and then I took it back to EB. So, forgive me if I die right away. I don't even know. See, I don't even... What is that? I remember the D-pad makes you talk, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes you do, gestures and taunts.
All right. Oh, no, somebody's shooting at me because I was too busy taunting them. All right. So I'm going to run away as fast as... Oh.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, it's Lando, baby.
Whoa,
Oh, no! Why would you do that?
I'm
Give me that.
so sorry.
Give it.
The cord touched the thingy.
Yeah, that's why when the Xbox One S came out, they fixed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
See, you put the controller in my hands for 2 seconds, and I ruined the game. That's what I did.
Technology.
It's okay. We're still here, guys.
We're still here.
Actually, I will compliment you, Fantasia, so far, because Alex Brown, I noticed, was saying that he wasn't participating in the chat because he's just enjoying listening to the stream so much.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
So we need to change the screen for a second so I can enter my password safely. Thank you. Don't want people seeing the password.
His password is password, everybody.
His password is so easy, it's ridiculous.
No one will ever guess it because it's that easy.
I have all of his passwords because of doing the streams together and because I run the computers, and it's just like, it's so funny.
Yeah. She runs the very tech side of things.
Yeah.
Although I'll like introduce her to like a new application that we need to use, and then she just runs with it. Like I'll be like, "This is how you do it," and later on she's like, "You don't know what you're doing." Like she corrects me on things after, which is pretty funny.
I'm
Sorry.
so
It's a nice passing of the torch.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
That's what my life is.
I'm so grateful though. I'm so grateful for people like you who can be the tech person. Like literally when we were setting up this this video, and I had to log in for something, and then I literally turned to you and I was like, "Do you know where to go from here?"
It was so cute because the next thing was like next, and it was the only button.
Absolutely. All right, so just to let you guys know, the next prize is going to be on Beam, so make sure you're rolling that dupe on Beam. THC, I hope that worked for you. I'm sorry if there was a delay in the code that we sent you a couple weeks back. So thank you for reminding us. And yeah, let us know if that one works. So now we're back in the game.
We're back in Battlefront.
Yeah.
No
Ultimate
thanks to
Gamer
me.
says, "Can I win again?" No.
No, that's greedy. Yeah, so I can't remember the name of the person who is joining me online, but if you're still around and you still want to play, you're more than welcome to. For those of you who are new to the channel, it's funny, I just noticed the Beam number went up when I said prize is going to go back on Beam.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rage quit, Other Barber. I don't rage quit. So if you want to play, you're welcome to play. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I am Misplaced Crusader with my co-host Kimura here, and we are from the gaming group Gamers of the North, and we are here with RebelScumPodcast. Andrew Fantasia,
Hello.
writer, actor, director, filmographer,
Ruiner of Battlefront with a cord.
man of many talents. Also, king of pickup lines.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I taught you a few back in our college days.
Yeah, college days.
Noid says, "I got a new work laptop to play with. Is a Chromebook good for games?"
That's funny.
I don't know anything about computers, so I'll say sure.
No.
No, you don't
No.
agree to that.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, a phone is better for games than a Chromebook.
What about your computer here, Misplaced Crusader? Because I was admiring it when we walked in. What's it called again?
This is called the Razer Blade, and it is good for gaming. However, I'm starting to see the light a little bit. If you want something mobile that does decent gaming, then yes, get a gaming laptop. However, if you want to do gaming, like hardcore gaming, get a desktop and go to Kimura and ask her how do I build a custom desktop.
Teehee.
So, but I will say this: the positive side of laptops is, again, if you want to do some good, decent gaming and need something on the go.
If you travel a lot.
Yes.
So, like, a lot of people do have to travel for work, and, like, Noid, who is literally always being called out,
Yeah,
then you should definitely get, like, a gaming laptop.
absolutely. And I do travel a bit, not
Not
as
enough.
not as much, but I do travel a bit. I travel about 4 times a year.
Yeah, but that's not really warranting a $3,000 laptop over a $1,500 desktop.
Yeah. Anyways, but hey, I just said I'm starting to see the light. You
That's
should
what
be.
I'm proud of you. I know
There
you
you go.
called me
That's what
with like such a silly request, but it was a request in the right direction.
Yes.
You should see. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 right now, the MMO, and I have how I have my computer hooked up to my 4K TV, so it's all like fantastical and magical, and it's running at like proper 4K, and I sit back with my Xbox controller playing an MMO.
Yeah.
It's glory. It's just like beautiful. Lowell Gronny says Beam is certainly going to take some time to get used to,
Thank
and
you.
Cypher is back on Beam because he prefers it. Cool.
Yeah.
Other Barber says, what's in there misplaced in 950 or something? Yep, GTX 950M.
It also has the ability to have the Razer Core, which you can plug in any video card and then get desktop graphics on a laptop.
Yeah. But beware, because your laptop will heat up to 900 billion degrees.
Yeah.
That's how I got those burn marks on my legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I first started getting into gaming, I used to play World of Warcraft on a MacBook, and I would like play on my bed with my laptop on my legs, and I actually had burn marks on my thighs for like a year. Not like bad ones. It was weird.
It was just red all the time.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
it was always red, and then that laptop exploded because Apple thinks it's a good idea to put a battery beside a graphics card.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great plan, Apple. Thanks.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely no.
Yeah. Other Robert says slap a 1080 Ti on there and it might kill your laptop. Absolutely. There's no way that the power adapter in there could handle a 1080 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 980 on mine, and on my desktop, and it's a little bit of a power pig. So I can't even imagine a 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
Although I'd like to imagine.
I don't know exactly how the Razer Core works. I thought it was a cool idea. But the laptop itself is perfect for what I need. It's light, easy to carry, decent battery life, and decent enough to do the gaming I want to do. Because to be honest, I play a lot of vintage games. Being an old school gamer.
This laptop can handle some better stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It has some redeeming qualities.
It's a good laptop. You can absolutely play anything that you wanted. Anything that's out right now, you can definitely play in good graphics. Maybe not ultra, but definitely good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does what I need it to do, though. That's what I got it for. It does what I need it to do. But Kimura brought up a good question when I talked to her about this recently, is, when you're looking for a computer, you have to be aware that you're not looking for today, you're looking for tomorrow. Because tomorrow is some of the stuff that's coming out for computers is absolutely nuts. But that's a conversation for another time.
No, it's not. It's a conversation for always.
It's I know, Kimura. I know. But we have Fantasia here. We need to utilize this man's
Well, he's
talent.
learning.
I am.
Computers.
I didn't know what a thing was before I heard of things for the graphics.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, nailed it.
Okay, let me just cover what they've said and then we'll move on.
Okay.
The other rower says, I think the 1080 Ti might use the same amount of power as the 980. They're doing crazy things these days. Usually the minimum requirements are the same, but it ends up like heating up a bit and pushing out like a little bit more power. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say. And Ultimate Gamer says, I like all the old Star Wars games on the App Store for computer. I have Knights 2, and Jedi Academy. I'll be getting more very soon.
Wait, you can get Jedi Academy on the App Store?
That's kind of cute. Did you see what THC said?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm way ahead of you.
Well, it doesn't show me if you've sent anything back on Beam.
Okay. But Kimura, I'm getting there. I'm getting faster, more efficient.
Oh, I'm not sure because you're playing. No, it
point.
says glad to see AMD is back with processors. They're like yeah. I mean, they're on the same road as Intel. Like if Intel, was like I don't know, let's say like an Audi, then like AMD is definitely a Honda Civic.
Oh.
Guys, my first computer was a Tandy. It had two colors, green and orange, and I played the ALF game on it. Wow. So I think I know a thing or two about not knowing a thing or two about computers, okay?
Sorry. So Fantasia, is there anything that we have not talked about that you have wanted to talk about on the stream?
I'd like to hear a little bit more from the people in the chat about what's their fantasy Star Wars game? What is, you're given the reins. Be like, here's unlimited budget, here's the reins, what game do you make?
It was actually funny. We had a developer, and a super amazing developer. I think he's our hero developer because he's been the only developer we had since like a long time ago. 2, we were like expecting a pretty professional stream, and this guy was just a ball of energy, a great talker. He had great stories, and we asked him that question: if you had a limited budget to build your Halo Wars 2 game, what would you do? And he's like, well, see, that's the problem, because if you have unlimited budget, you just want to keep doing more and more and more. And as time progresses, you're going to want to do different things. And like, he's like, the game would never be finished.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great question, definitely. And his name was Jeffy Sterling, and he was a franchise writer for Halo Wars 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool guy.
Super cool guy.
Cypher says he's playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on his phone.
Yes, that's the app that the Ultimate Gamer was talking about. Yeah.
Oliver says, like you said earlier, exploration with collectibles. Not sure if I'd rather be a bounty hunter or what, but they need one of those games in the Star Wars universe. I'm telling you, it's the Star Wars Old Republic MMO. You don't even have to play with other people if you don't want to. You can just, it's the best single player multiplayer I've ever played. I didn't even, while I was leveling up, I barely was with other people. So, that game exists, you guys. It's there. And it's actually pretty good. I will, go buy it. Just go try it out. Steam does exchanges. If you don't like it, I feel like it's like $30. Just go buy it right now. And THC Smoker says, hit that follow if you like what you see.
Bang, bang.
Ultimate Gamer says, Darth Plagueis or a Snoke origin story.
As a game, wow, that's interesting.
I want to jump in here because I wanted to say something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, Ultimate Gamer, you're on the right track with what I want. So I'm going to explore that idea further. What I would like to see is being a make your own Jedi character. Make your own, but they give you, obviously the name of that character is given to you, and the story is, the story as a part of the canon. But you were one of the Jedis that was told to stay away from the Jedi Council after the attack on the Jedi Council. But you exile yourself and you rediscover how the Jedi became the Jedi by doing different levels and exploring like areas that the Jedi used to go to. And piecing together the story and then finding out not only how the Jedis began, but what will happen to them if they were destroyed. And then, you learn that Yoda exiled himself. So at the end of the game, you either find Yoda or you do your own thing. I think that would be a cool game to see. Because one of the favorite things I liked about the Star Wars storytelling was watching Obi-Wan being a detective in Attack of the Clones and trying to figure out who is doing this, and then he falls into the story of Master Cypher Diaz, and following what Master Cypher Diaz did, and that story was a great story to follow because the Jedi are such a mystery that you want to learn everything they did and why they did it. Another big thing is I also love Qui-Gon Jinn in the first one because he didn't want to be on the Jedi Council. He hated the Jedi Council. He loved being a Jedi because he went to the core of what it is to be a Jedi, which is, living the Force, living with the Force, and being a part of the Force. And that's why he always did the field missions, and he was, he always talked about accepting the flow of the Force, and what was it? What did he say to Obi-Wan in the very beginning? He's like, focus your thoughts on the here and now. Don't be distracted by visions of what's going on around you. But Qui-Gon was an interesting Jedi to follow just because he truly embraced the path of the Jedi. And he hated the Council because he thought the Council was too involved with the politics and, being the big group that they are.
Yeah, and he had a point. And look what happened. He ended up being the guy who figured out how to essentially be a Force ghost.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
He was doing something right.
He was.
And on that.
Wouldn't you like to learn? Imagine each mission was learning more about a hero Jedi character and their backstory, right? That would be really cool. And that's a Jedi game I would like to see. And then put in, third-person adventure controls with the lightsaber and stuff. Oh, that'd be my type of game. And then you pick your Force powers that you excel at.
Yeah.
I know it's so simple of a Force power, but I love Force push. Just being able to telekinetically push something with your, hands, it's awesome.
I think we need more Force choking in games.
Oh, yes.
Can you do that in this? I remember in Battlefront 2, back in the day, you could force choke if you were.
You can. This one, I don't think you force choke. I think you force lightning. I'm
Right.
not 100% sure on that. Do not quote me. I can't remember, but I remember in Jedi Outcast you can force choke somebody,
That's right.
and I also remember in Force Unleashed when you played as Vader, you can force choke Wookiees. That was good times.
Yeah.
Good times. Oh, but yeah, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see like being your own character and exploring like being your own character, but the name and the story is given to you for your character.
Yes.
But designing your own Jedi and then exploring these hero Jedis and learning more about their tales and how the Jedi came to be like such like how they came to be in the city as a council and why, and then learning more about the different Jedi heroes like Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, all this stuff. Because you don't even know. Do you know how Obi-Wan became Obi-Wan Kenobi? Like,
no, we don't know anything about his backstory. We're not even sure what planet he's from. But there's a great book that came out sometime last year. It's one of those reference books, so it's not like a novel or anything. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you owe it to yourself to check this book out, guys. It's called Star Wars Complete Locations. And what it is this beautiful, drop-dead sexy book filled with paintings, original paintings of locations from all 7 movies. Rogue One hadn't come out at the time yet. And every location is just full. I'm talking like hundreds per page of details. Like, you'll get lost in this book. For example, there's the page that talks about the pod race. It actually folds out like a Playboy centerfold, and it shows you the track of the pod race and all the little hazards that are on the track. It shows you like, oh, here's where there's sand people setting up where they shot at the players, but it tells you why the sand people were there. Every little detail is covered, and then when you unfold it, it shows you more. And there's actually a bar on the side that shows you, okay, Anakin won, but it tells you who came in next, who finished, what their finish time was, how many laps they completed.
oh, that's
And
amazing.
yeah, and if somebody didn't finish, if they crashed and burned, it tells you how and in what lap and where on the map. Like, it's insanity. There's pages of the Mos Eisley Cantina and all the different levels to it, and where the owner is and who the owner is and what they're like, where the owner keeps the bodies, because there are bodies in the cantina. And because this came out last year, everything is canon. And there was this great little snippet of info regarding like what you just brought up about the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and when it was being built. And they show you a cross section, and it turns out hundreds of thousands of years ago on Coruscant, there was a stone pyramid there, and the Jedi built their temple over this pyramid.
Interesting.
And if you've read, I think it's Tarkin, the book Tarkin by James Luceno, you find out what's in the bottom chamber of that pyramid.
Is it big? Is it cool?
It's
Have
cool.
you read it?
It's cool. I've read it.
Well, tell us. You just got to tell us.
No, he can't.
it's-
Then
No, he's
people-
got it.
No, he doesn't.
Oh.
Read your own book.
Oh.
No, it says a Lego Dimension Star Wars. I would love little Lego ships. Cypher says, I'm curious if they'll do that since Disney Infinity 3 failed hard. Hyper says, not dimensions. THC says, new DLC coming to Halo Wars 2 soon. And Ultimate Gamer says, Andrew, what's one thing with Legends you think needs to be remade canon?
I'm going to go with, it's very broad, but I'm going to go with the Old Republic. I mean, we know it's coming. We've seen it. I'm not talking about Knights of the Old Republic, the game specifically. I'm just talking about the Old Republic itself, the ancient world of Star Wars. They're hinting at it, man. They're teasing it. It's coming. I can't wait to see it in some way, shape, or form. If you've seen Rogue One, there's that beautiful shot when they're on the planet Jeddah, and you see that statue of an old Jedi Master buried in the sand. We don't know who that is. It's just an ancient, huge statue. It kind of looks like those statues on the waterfall in Lord of the Rings. Like, it's just sitting there in the sand. I'm willing to bet money that we are going to see at some point an Old Republic story where that statue is standing upright. We're going to get to see
That would be
back in
cool.
the day. Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Elbro says, young Palpatine RPG, and you could actually alter the course of Star Wars canon.
Ooh.
You can force choke its Vader. It's a guaranteed kill on normal enemies.
Oh, there you go.
And also, just so you know, that Star Wars MMO is free up to level 50.
Oh, there you go.
So,
The Old Republic one?
yeah, so just go home and download it, please.
Just go.
Because you're gonna love it. It's so good.
I don't know if I have the PC. I know we were just talking about this, but I have just like a Mac
This
desktop.
game is like 7 years old. Like, you can
I
definitely.
can do it? Okay.
I think so.
Can I do it where I can play with like an Xbox controller? Because I'm not a fan of playing with keyboards.
On a Mac, you might have some issues. You'd have to download some drivers, like third-party ones.
Yeah.
I think you could probably. Well, I know I could do it.
Then I'm just gonna call you to set it up for me. I'll just leave my house for like 8 hours and be like, when I come
8
back,
hours.
when I come
It'd
back,
take,
have
like-
this ready for me.
It'd take like 1 hour. I'm pretty sure it works on Mac though.
Nice.
Yeah, I think if you download a certain driver, you can get it.
No, I mean like the actual game.
Oh.
Oh no, only PC.
Oh, hashtag heartbreak.
Sorry you chose poorly. I mean, like what?
What?
Who said that?
Oh, that's good.
My terrible Sony Vaio is not gonna cut it.
Oh, the Sony Vaio. Those were such a cute idea. They were nice.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna give away the last prize on Beam, and then we're gonna call it an evening. Yeah, I think we covered the last topic. You wanted to throw out to the audience what you would like them to see in a or what you would want them to see in a Star Wars game. So if you're
What do you wish you hadn't seen in a Star Wars movie?
Ooh.
In a movie?
Yeah. What's the worst part of any of the Star Wars movies?
The kids, the little kids, I think would be my answer.
Are you saying that just because it's sad when the younglings get killed, or
Not
do you
at
mean
all,
like
no.
child acting?
The child acting. I think I could have. I'm so cool with the idea of Boba Fett being a clone. I'm awesome with that. That's fine. But I don't think we needed to see little Boba Fett going, "Get him, Dad! Get him!
Yeah.
Fire!" That really takes away from the mystique of the character.
Well said.
Yeah. Anakin didn't have to be that young necessarily, at least not for the whole movie anyway. I mean, take a page out of Forrest Gump's book, guys. Forrest Gump covered like 35 years in one movie. You could have started him off young and worked your way up. And then the younglings, I mean, when he pulls out that lightsaber, it's just like, okay, cool, we're finally getting rid of these younglings. And we don't have to hear the word younglings anymore.
I like younglings. I don't mean the younglings. I just like that word.
Are you sure you're not talking about the beer youngling?
No.
Okay.
I just like the word youngling.
Actually, I will say this. I think that when they picked the kid for Anakin in the first movie, he was too young. Like, I think he was way too young for that character. I think what would have made sense is like a really like pre-teen aged character, because then that would have been like all those lines about him being too old would have been justified.
Yeah.
And a kid at that age would be so angry and emotional and turbulent, like, you know, like he was too young. Like he was too young to get the fact that he was leaving his mom forever. Like,
yeah.
He was like I think like certain lines just didn't work. He was too young to love Padme and really like make it believable.
Exactly.
Like if he was a preteen, that would make sense because he would be discovering love for the first time.
And you know, finding parts of his body reacting in ways they hadn't before.
Exactly.
Well, and an underdeveloped frontal lobe gives you very terrible choice making.
Yeah.
Which is what teens have.
Yeah.
Which is why they make bad choices.
And congrats, Noid, to winning the $10
Yay,
gift
Noid.
card.
I love when Noid wins.
I think Noid wins enough to almost like buy a game.
Yeah.
And we don't know how much he wins on other channels, so congrats out to Noid. But that's my main criticism. I really feel bad because what's his name, Jake Lloyd, or he was just too young for the role. I think George Lucas had the right idea in terms of storytelling for that kid. I mean, midichlorians, let's like never acknowledge that. Well, and I hated the midichlorians thing because the midichlorians thing really ruined the magic of Episode 5, which is like my favorite Star Wars movie of all time.
Yeah.
And like the mystique of meeting Yoda and like what the Force is. And it's like, oh no, you're actually just born with these cells that like help you be more in tune with the Force. I just didn't buy it. It was definitely a writing cop out in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Anakin was just way too young. I would have loved to see him as a preteen, really emotional, but like so gifted, you know, like just that raw potential that you would normally see in a preteen. And that to me would have made the movie like infinitely better.
I think even Jake Lloyd himself would agree with you.
Yeah.
I met him once at a fan expo, and this was back before it was like impossible to meet. Like you didn't have to wait 9 hours to meet a celebrity. This was like in 07. Like they were just walking around. I'm like, hey, what's up? I shook hands with him and I was like, hey, it's an honor to meet you, man. And he kind of laughed. He goes, really? Why? And I said, hey, man, you're part of the films. You're part of that, whether, you know, regardless.
Yeah.
So he, he seemed like a, down to earth guy, but you feel like he gets it. Like he gets why the character was not as well received as some people thought he would be.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But like, cause like the thing is, like Qui-Gon's story in that movie is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets it, and watching Obi-Wan like become a Jedi was really a neat story. So yeah, like that's what I think. That's why the first one went so wrong. And that would have made, and then him being your preteen would have made Hayden Christensen's role better as well, because it would have been justified for him to feel the way he does,
right,
in that age range. So, although it's funny how you guys didn't like Revenge of the Sith because it was the most critically acclaimed one.
I know.
Out of all of
Were
them.
the critics like also drunk?
Everybody always says like that's the one that feels like Star Wars, man.
But it doesn't.
It
That's
doesn't.
the worst one.
It's. I still hold to the fact that the worst scene in any Star Wars movie ever is in that movie when Obi-Wan finds out that Anakin has turned to the dark side, because you've been building up to that for 3 movies. That should be your emotional. That's where everything should be heading. That's like the equivalent of the scene in the Avengers where Bruce Banner says, "I'm always angry," and he turns around and turns into the Hulk, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can die happy now." That scene where Obi-Wan finds out about Anakin, that should have been the equivalent of that Hulk scene. That's what you were building up to for how many movies? And what we got was just Ewan McGregor staring at a hologram, seeing Anakin do bad things and saying, "Anakin, I can't watch anymore." I'm sorry, that's how you handle that moment that we've been waiting to see for 25 years? No, I'm sorry, but no. No. Just no.
That's fair. So one more time, Fantasia, is there any last things you wanted to talk about on the stream?
Just that I'm super grateful for all of you guys, for gamer fans, for Star Wars fans, for Star Wars game fans, because you guys, you make this all possible. I love seeing the love, whether it's for games or whether it's for Star Wars, and bringing the fans together in a community like this, like what you guys are doing, or like something what Celebration did. It puts a smile on my face, and it strengthens my belief that stuff like this really there is a little bit of magic to it. There is.
Ultimate Gamer was talking about, I think the worst part of Revenge of the Sith was the first shot recreation of Darth Vader moving like
Frankenstein's monster.
Oh.
Yes, thank you. I'd high five you, but you're really far away, and there's some dude between us.
So Fantasia, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to come down and join our band of rebels.
Oh, thank you. It's a very empty schedule. Like I said, I'm extraordinarily single, so trust me.
Oh, we should have done a giveaway for a date with Andrew.
Yeah.
A night of Fantasia.
Yeah. I love it.
Sounds
I love
raunchy.
it. Well done, Kimura. Well done. And I can't thank you enough, man. It was a lot of fun. I think it's. I hope I speak for everyone here. We'd love to have you back for when Battlefront 2 actually comes out.
Oh, I'd love to be back, man.
And review that game with us and talk about more Star Wars. And by that time, maybe we'll have more knowledge and information on The Last Jedi.
Oh, for sure.
So Thank you so much, and really appreciate it. We had a great time. Like I said, there was a wonderful compliment out there from Alex Brown saying that he didn't partake in the chat that much because he was enjoying listening to the stream and all the background information. So
Thanks again, Alex.
yeah. So thank you guys. We'll see you on the next stream. We have a wonderful play and learn set up next week. Where we have the April Foolish Gamer playing Dark Souls. Yes. Just found out not too long ago that he is going to be playing the game.
It was my fault. Half my fault.
Hashtag I should have said something. So he is going to be playing Dark Souls, and this guy has never played a game before, and he has a British accent. So it's going to be...
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Isabella Sulp says Fantasia rocks my socks.
Oh.
Thank you, Isabella. I hope your socks are as cool as I'm picturing. There's like little multicolored horses on them.
Yeah.
I was picturing white ones with like the frilly tops.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see.
See, that's not something you guys would remember, but her and I probably had to like wear those to like school pictures and stuff when we were like in the 5-year-old range. I still have nightmares about the itchiness of those socks.
All right, guys. With that being said, we're gonna call it here. Once again, guys, we're here with the Rebel Scum podcast. Make sure you check them out on YouTube. They have wonderful videos about Star Wars and the Star Wars canon. In fact, Fantasia here did some wonderful reviews about the books and did some wonderful reviews about the toys. So if you're interested in all that stuff, make sure you check them out on YouTube at Rebel Scum Podcast. We are the Gamers of the North. You can see us again next week. You can see specifically Komora and I, yay, on Tuesday, where we're just going to fool around and play some new games. That's what we do. And then on Thursday, we have our April Foolish Gamer, so make sure you tune in for that. That's it. We're done. See you on the next stream. Happy gaming.
Bye, guys.